Alright, what's up, y'all? Gonna do a commentary over my latest speed run here that I just got a world record on by a pretty good margin, and had a request to do a little bit of commentary over the top, so I figured I'd play the game first, then do the commentary over top because I tried doing it all at the same time and it's a little bit too challenging to be thinking ahead and talking about what I was doing in the moment. So let's go ahead and jump into it. My name is Aaron, aka Jack's Bile Duct on speedrun.com. So let's just jump straight into it. So I figure I'll just kind of talk through the general strategy for the speed run and try to identify some of the individual strategies that I came up with and some of the pitfalls that you can run into when you try to play this game as quickly as possible. For anyone who's already watched these videos, you kind of already know at least the general idea of the progression through the game. But yeah, I'll just kind of talk through some of my choices. Yeah, just starting with the extra accuracy on my main character, I've found is the best way to start. And here we go. We're going to jump straight into it. So the first story mission you jump straight into, it's really just about trying to get through it as quickly as possible. You're not going to get any salvage.
Command interface
and
initiated.
Yeah, there's really no benefit to doing anything other than just clearing the baddies as quickly as possible. It did take me quite a while to kind of settle on this breakdown as far as where I position my guys, because it's really nice to have the enemies kind of set up in the right way. I actually kind of accidentally misplaced my blackjack on this one, which led to this arrangement of the enemies. It actually worked out really well, so if I were to try this speedrun again,
Engaging jump jets.
I think I would stick with this pattern. In any case, you have to jump forward with the blackjack here because you can't run forward far enough to get in range of the turret generator. So you generate a lot of heat, which is not great, but you knock it out in one go, which is what you need to do.
Aye, aye.
So anyways, I'm not used to the commando being in this position, so I was just kind of winging it at this point of moving my guys where I could get the most damage on his right side, and it worked out really well. Got the first kill. And you really do want to get the commando down. If not on that first turn, that's obviously the best, but you can have him go down to one hit on the second round as long as you can kill the spider here. And the reason that you want to take them both out by the second round of combat is that you'll get an automatic sprint for your mechs before the new enemies spawn and sort of take you back into combat. So you'll see that here in a second. So I'm going to actually exit combat here as these enemies are dropped, which will give me this chance to just auto sprint, which saves a solid probably 10 seconds off of manually clicking sprint for each of them, maybe even more than that. And again, really all we're trying to do here is just kill these guys as quickly as possible.
All weapons committed.
So let me talk a little bit while we're just kind of clearing bad guys about the starting mechs and their value. So obviously the spider is our weakest mech.
Commander.
It's only carrying 2 small lasers, or medium lasers, lightly armored, whatever. It's kind of a decoy, and we're only going to use it for this mission and the next. So that one's not particularly important to talk that much about, although we will armor it up
inflicted some heavy damage
after this mission, just so that it's a little bit tankier. The ShadowHawk is going to be our best starting mech, So we start with one of those, and we have an opportunity to pick up another one in the second story mission, which is really handy. Then we've got the Blackjack and the Vindicator. The Blackjack is... It's just kind of a weird mech. Like, it can dish out a lot of damage at short to medium range.
Vehicle trapped.
It overheats really quickly. And it's just got no armor whatsoever. And especially on the arms. So it's really annoying
Waiting on you, Commander.
when you get a good weapon, you put it on the Blackjack, and then your opponent just like shoots you once and blows up your arm. And you're like, what the hell is that?
Smoked up.
So you really want to get rid of the Blackjack as quickly as possible.
Move order received.
Even though it's fairly strong in terms of damage output. The Vindicator is sort of
Standing by.
middle of the road.
Firing on
It
target.
only has energy weapons, which is really its big downfall. So it tends to overheat just shooting with its PPC and large laser that I put on it after this story mission concludes. But it can put out decent damage. So
Roger
it's worth keeping on to, keeping a hold of for a little bit.
Detected.
But you really want ShadowHawks, and then after the
Commander.
second story mission, we'll get a Centurion, which is really where you want to be
Heading out.
at. Alright, so a lot of times I'll have my spider close enough as he runs into the little base area here to trigger the next cutscene. I'll have him close enough that he can just go and physically attack that tank over there. But I was just a little bit discombobulated because I needed to use him to take down that, that communications tower. Anyways, we'll end up having to do one additional round of combat than I normally do here, but we had pretty good combat earlier. Had the early combat exit,
Knocked out a
so
vehicle. Waiting for orders.
everything's pretty good. And
Affirmative.
one other thing too is you can get
Firing
really
on
kind of
Bravo.
fixated on trying to do this first story mission
Enemy
like
vehicle
as quickly as
destroyed.
possible and get kind of bent out of shape if you end up missing a few shots or having to do an extra round or two of combat. But at the end of the day, as long as you don't do anything that's just like super egregious, 4 minutes of time loss or
Reporting.
something,
Enemy.
you can make that all up later. Because it's really going to come down to, do you get the best weapons? Do you get access to the black market? And are you able to get, your early Annihilator, for example, loaded up with UAC-5s, ideally. Alright, so anyways, we're just going to click through all this dialogue, of course, as quickly as possible. You'll notice that sometimes I'm clicking on buttons and other times it seems like I'm not. That's because I'm hammering away on the Enter key. So you'll be using the Enter key and the Escape key a lot. Anyways, we get one of the best possible starts. We start with 2 UAC-5s. That is my ideal start.
What's
It's
up,
much
boss?
better than UAC-10 or 2. The UAC-10s do more damage, of course, but they take up more space. You need more ammo, and the recoil effects are really just the biggest problem for those. So here I am armoring up the spider, taking off 1.5 tons of the small jump jets in order to make space for that armor. And that's just so that when this guy gets targeted on the pirate moon attack, liberating the Argo, that he can take a little bit of punishment. So we got those UAC-5s, so we're going to put those we're going to put one of them on the ShadowHawk. And the rest of it is just sort of making space for a little bit of armor. And you'll see that I kind of fumble a little bit here. Usually I have this down pretty good, but in any case, yeah. UAC-5 on the ShadowHawk to start things off is really good.
Right.
2 tons of ammo on there gives you 15 cycles of the weapon, which is definitely overkill. So it's one of those kind of bad things about UAC-5s is that 1 ton only gives you 7.5 turns of full cycle, which most of the battles are going to run up on that, and you may run out of ammo. So you kind of need the 2 tons, and then you have way too much ammo. So it's a little bit annoying. Nice thing about the UAC-2s is that oftentimes you only need 1 ton because it's 25 rounds.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Calculating course now.
But the UAC-2s The problem with those is they just don't do enough damage per ton unless you get a plus or a double plus. The double plus is actually one of the best weapons in the game. Just hands down. Like, the damage per ton is incredible. Alright, so here we are. We just have to skip through a couple of these missions to advance the story. Let's go ahead and think about what else to talk about here. So the reason I don't put the other UAC-5 onto the Blackjack is what I talked about earlier. You just have such a fragile arm that if your opponent either attacks you with a physical attack or just shoots you, you can just blow up that arm very easily, and you lose one of the best weapons in the game that you paid a substantial amount for early on. So I just figured, don't even put it on the Blackjack. Just save it for when you get the ShadowHawk or the Centurion. I mean, you're definitely getting the Centurion after the Moon Battle, but also if you get the ShadowHawk, you may put it on there. Alright, so what are the ideal starts, right? UAC 5s. You even have another opportunity to pick up some good autocannons on the second planet here before you go off to do the pirate battle. So you have two stores that you can shop at. If you're starting a run and you don't get any UACs at the first two stores, it's gonna be a little bit tough. It's not impossible. It didn't kill the run, but it is gonna make it tough. Things are just gonna be a little bit slower at the beginning, and it's unclear if you're gonna find those weapons later. So, you know, does it kill the run? No. Does it really lower the chances of you having a good run? Absolutely. One question that someone might ask is, what about UAC 20s or even just AC 20s by themselves? Are you ever incentivized to use those? Really, no. The problem is you only get 5 rounds per ton of ammo, so you need a lot of ammo. They're heavy, and the recoil effects are insane. And they're very short range, so everything works against you. You shouldn't be using UAC 20s. Like, honestly, I tried it. It seemed like maybe you could do something with it because you could just one-shot some units in the early game here since they're so small. But no, in the long run, you just end up burning a lot of the early cash that you need, and they're way too inefficient. Alright, I also like to use this arrangement of the mech warriors, putting Behemoth on the ShadowHawk there with the UAC-5. That's because she already starts with the high guts score, gets a little bit of reduced recoil penalty. So, always sticking with that. And then, of course, I put Decker on the little spider because he has the lowest
Command interface initiated.
lowest guts well, he's got guts but low accuracy. Like, he's just sort of the best guy to put on that, I think.
Idiots. We've got company.
Alright, so the strategy here, running the spider forward just to get a vision of the turret generator.
Any more objections?
And he's got really high evasion from sprinting all the way up there that he's just not really going to get hit by much when it comes to those two vehicles.
Firing.
Alright, so we use the ShadowHawk to try to take down the turret generator. Don't get enough connections to take it down, so we have to use the Blackjack, and we get it there. That, of course, just takes down all of those turrets, which is really important. So that you only have to worry about the 3 remaining vehicles, and then taking down those towers. The nice thing about the spider here is that you can just run it up here and then use physical attacks on
I'm
these
taking heavy hits, Commander.
vehicles, which Of course, take double damage
Aye, aye.
against physical attacks.
Ugh!
Of course, I step on the one part of the tank that can actually survive a 60 damage hit,
Engaging target.
but get it on the second shot.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Commander. Locking on target. I hear ya.
So I
I read
used
you,
to think that
Commander.
the
Moving
UAC-10s were the best way to go. And it is true that the UAC-10 Plus and Double
Run it
Plus
down,
gives
Commander.
you a lot of extra damage that can be really nice, in addition to
Commander,
lower tonnage.
heading out.
But the
Targeting for
recoil
physical
effects and the
attack.
range decrease is really problematic,
Vehicle
plus
down.
the additional ammo that you need. So, honestly, I think UAC-5s are just the best
Waiting
possible
for orders.
weapon that you can find.
Locking on. Waiting for orders. Here we go.
Alright, so here we're just working our way towards the main battle sequence.
Payday.
Just have to wait for this one last vehicle to get into range. We'll take it out and then advance.
All weapons committed.
The key thing about this advance is that you want to get these three main mechs
unit
into
destroyed.
position before you
Orders?
get the spider in
Acknowledged.
to the little
Acknowledged.
region where it triggers the sequence. And
Heading
that's
out.
obviously just so that you have
Uh-huh.
your slowest
On it.
mechs with all of your damage
Roger
up
that.
front and in position.
Copy that.
So that's why I'm not advancing
On
the
the move.
spider into this yellow region.
Don't need to tell me twice.
On my way.
Position confirmed. Got it.
Alright, so now
I
comes
copy.
the main battle sequence here, where we have a couple of major objectives. The first is to clear all of the small units that we encounter immediately, and then there will be a ShadowHawk and a
to do.
whatever the hell that thing is called. Total piece of
With
junk
pleasure, Dr. Mirage.
with the pirate lady in it. And you can get both mechs by disabling the pilot, but whatever that piece of junk is that the
All weapons
pirate
committed.
queen or whatever is piloting, it's just a total piece of junk. It's only got space for, or hard points for energy weapons, and it doesn't have nearly enough tonnage to put heat sinks on to maximize it as like a real high damage dealer. Whereas the ShadowHawk has 3
Hostile removed.
autocannon hardpoints and a laser hardpoint and missile hardpoints. Like, it's very flexible and has a lot
What
of
can I do
tonnage.
for you?
So the ShadowHawk is really what you want. So here I'm usually using the spider to clear
Yes, Commander.
the vehicle with the AC-5. That's just the most problematic,
Roger that.
taking 45 damage to, say, an arm
One for the
or
scrappy.
a side torso, something like that, that can then get picked on for the remainder of the battle. So just get rid of that and then focus on the rest of these guys. Now,
for
the
orders.
trick, the strategy
On my
to
way.
getting the ShadowHawk is you need to deal 3 damage to the pilot without destroying the center torso or both
Vehicle
legs.
trashed.
So the easiest way to do that is to isolate it first. So kill the pirate queen, get her out of the way, and then you can fixate on the ShadowHawk. The way I like to do it is
Roger.
3 physical attacks will knock it down, and if you punch it from the sides, you'll do most of the damage
Oh,
either to
salvage
the arms, the side torso, or the legs. And yeah, so punch it 3 times, it'll go down, and then you just need to either knock it down again by destroying a leg or destroy both side torsos. Of course, you can also hit him in the head one time, but that's not very reliable.
But you better hurry up.
Good to go.
Alright, so here I'm just sort of
Affirmative.
getting my forces.
A little busy. The pirates are dead.
But so are half of my engineers.
set up. Usually like to put one guy over on the far side
Good to go.
just to try to draw fire away from the blackjack, because they almost always target your blackjack and start blowing up arms. Anyways, I was fortunate enough to get them to shoot at the Vindicator, and all the damage went right into the leg and took it out, so that was annoying. But losing a leg, not the worst thing.
I'm hit.
Alright, so again, here I am just focusing on the, I guess it's a quick draw.
Engaging target.
I never really remember what it is because I don't like it,
Yes,
and I'm
Commander.
not interested in getting it.
Affirmative.
So yeah, just trying to take this
Fire
down as
all
quickly as
weapons.
possible. There may be a
Inflict
strategy
some heavy
where
damage.
you actually take the quick draw and just put a bunch
gonna
of
need a
medium
medic.
lasers on it, heat sinks,
Not much armor left.
Commander?
and use it for a battle or two. I don't know. I guess it's possible, but I think I tried it
Back up
once and
and
didn't
ready
like it.
for more.
And I think the tonnage on it is like 22 or
no.
something, and the
My neck is
ShadowHawk has more. Or I think maybe the ShadowHawk has around 22, and that quick draw is like 19. I don't know.
Standing
I'm
by.
not exactly perfect on all of the
Moving out.
different mechs, but definitely just try to kill this one and get the ShadowHawk. So I do accidentally target the wrong unit and shoot the ShadowHawk instead
Not
of
much
the
armor left.
quick draw, which is sort of annoying. But it happens. There's definitely plenty of times where you make mistakes trying to go as quickly as possible.
Yes, Commander.
And here I get a little bit unlucky,
I copy.
not able to
Targeting for physical attack.
destroy the quick draw.
Inflicted some. Waiting for orders.
But
Here
we
we
do
go.
get it here,
No.
which is fine.
mine. You can't.
Alright, now
Next
anytime that
destroy.
ShadowHawk moves, it's going to remove some of the stabilization damage that you've done, so you really kind of want it to attack, and now you go for your 3 physical attacks to knock it down.
Warning. Armor low.
Receiving you.
Unfortunately, that rock is placed in such a way that I can't do a physical attack from
Commander?
its right side, which
Got it.
is really pretty annoying, because if you attack it from head on, you have a pretty high likelihood of hitting the center torso
Receiving
and
you.
just destroying it. And you can see me here just kind of lose a second or two, being like, oh god, I have to attack it head on. But anyways, get the
Ready for
knockdown,
orders.
and now the idea
Position
is
confirmed.
to take out the left torso. So here I am just checking to make sure that I'm not going to do too much damage to the center torso. And indeed do get the left
That is
torso.
something good.
So that's 2 hits on the pilot, and now we just need him to stand back up so that we can attack and destroy the other torso, hopefully. Lucky enough that that hit didn't hit the arm, because even with
Warning. Armor
max
low.
armor on the arm,
Ready
you
for
can
orders.
lose that real quick. Alright, so switching over to the other side, going for that other
Acknowledged.
torso, and fortunate enough to take it out. And that incapacitates the pilot. Okay, great.
That's a kill.
The only problem here now is getting into the evac zone with my
Right,
gimpy
Commander.
Vindicator. And I kind of waste a little bit of time here trying to get him in there. As I'm like, wait, what? I can't get in there?
Good to go.
And not because of stabilization damage, just
Roger
because
that.
that
Taking
leg is busted up.
Coordinates received.
Alright, so we finally get in there. We lost some
Mission
time for sure,
successful.
but we're basically on pace. And we got the ShadowHawk. Anyone who's watched my previous videos or notices in this one, sometimes the audio cuts out. That's because in the moment I was alt-tabbed to check my splits. So anytime that audio cuts out is because I alt-tabbed. Okay, so first story mission down. We got the ShadowHawk. We have 2 UAC-5s, one of which is available to put on our new ShadowHawk or the Centurion. And then we're gearing up for the Weldry battle. So we've got the store here that we can check. And then we're just going to be sort of getting rid of a couple of side missions you know, just quickly failing them
Mech you
or
wanted
withdrawing
back on. That
in order
mech
to
you asked
advance.
for is cleared for fighting.
So we can get rid of the Spider, and I choose to get rid of the Blackjack and keep the Vindicator. A lot of times I'll keep the Blackjack just because it does a little bit more damage. But this time I decided to go with the Vindicator. Unfortunately, no good weapons
New equipment
in the
available.
store. We do find some cockpit mods, which are nice. Can strap those on our mechs early and keep our mech warriors from getting injured by just like a random missile hit to the head,
Good to go.
which is just
Standing
annoying
by.
when it forces you to burn extra time waiting for your guys to heal up.
Training complete.
Here we're gonna dismiss Medusa straight away. Just not gonna use him, so don't need to be paying him. And here we go. We're gonna load up the ShadowHawk with our UAC-5. I make a bit of a mistake here that I don't catch for quite a while, actually, which is that I don't put 2 tons of AC-5 ammo on this mech, and instead keep the 2 heat sinks, which is a bit of overkill. And that only gives me 7.5 full cycles of the weapon, which I notice a little bit later. I notice it in the next battle and then forget again to put another ton of ammo on it. So it doesn't really bite me that hard, but yeah, I could have been better about that. So. Anyways, the Centurion we don't have good weapons for, so we're just sort of piecemealing this together as best we can. And it's kind of annoying. So literally I'm just going to throw heat sinks on this. And it's not the worst. I mean, we've got decent heat efficiency, but obviously can do a lot better once we have a UAC-5 or a 10 to put on that Centurion. Alright, you move a small amount of supplies here to get your tech boost. Make sure your mechs are repaired and ready to go for the next story mission. Here I was sort of wondering what on earth happened to my Vindicator. I lost one of the jump jets when that leg got destroyed, and so there's like half a ton of space on that mech, which I'll sort out in a minute. But let's see. You can save a little bit of time by mashing the left mouse button on the prepping for combat button. For whatever reason, it sort of flies in faster, I guess. The animation for flying into your units is a few seconds faster over either clicking it after the button sort of highlights or is activated, I should say, or hitting enter. So yeah, just sort of mashing the left mouse button on that button and then hitting enter to click through all of the dialogue options.
I'll let you know when that's done.
Roger that, Commander.
Okay, so got the Vindicator fixed up, and now we're flying on to our next story mission, the Weldry Battle. So let's see, the curious thing about the Weldry Battle, a lot of it is just clearing turrets, clearing vehicles, just trying to get through as quickly as possible. And then you've got the prison battle. The interesting thing about the prison battle is that there's a Centurion and a JagerMech that you're up against, both of which are very powerful mechs, especially to get this early in the game.
Ready to go.
And it would be lovely if you could get either one of those.
We're nearly broke, Commander.
So the problem with the Centurion is that the pilot actually has enough guts that they have an extra hit point. So taking that guy out without destroying the mech is extraordinarily challenging. In fact, I've only ever done it by destroying the head with a lucky shot. And that's really tough. I mean, you have no tactics on any of your mech warriors yet, which means that your called shot bonus is non-existent. So you're going to have like a 2% chance of hitting the head with anything. And to one-shot it, to destroy it, you need a UAC 10. So just virtually impossible to get the Centurion. The JagerMech, on the other hand, only has 3 hit points. So knock him down once, take out the 2 side torsos, and you're good to go. Problem with that one is that by the time you actually are able to close on the JagerMech and start doing physical attacks to knock him down, Kamea bursts through the wall and is like, YOLO, motherfuckers, and like just insta-jibs him a lot of the time. And if she doesn't insta-jib him on her first salvo, shooting him in the back, she'll get him on the second time around. So you have a very limited window.
Unknown on sensors.
In addition to that, the JagerMech has like no armor. So it's really easy to strip the armor off of the center torso, and then any damage dealt to the center torso could crit the stupid AC2 ammo that they keep there and just destroy the mech. So it's really pretty hard to get the JagerMech, but it is easier to accomplish than the Centurion.
Acknowledged.
Here I only have
Firing.
the 1 mech up top. Oftentimes I'll take
They've
2
got a
up there
lock on me.
to clear out these 2 turret generators, but only have the 1 mech this time
Minimal damage on that hit.
since I got rid of the blackjack. But anyways, we'll get rid of that second turret generator. And yeah, really here it's just about taking these guys out as quickly as possible, trying to suffer as little damage as possible, because anybody that takes significant damage here will then get sort of tunneled on by the JagerMech and the Centurion and that trebuchet that's launching a bunch of LRMs from over the wall.
Uh-huh. Take this!
Waiting for orders.
Someone may ask, what about trying to capture the trebuchet?
Copy that. Locking in all
The
weapons.
problem with using LRMs is that even once you
Vehicle
get
destroyed.
some called shot bonuses, excuse me, it's really tough to get all of
Light
those
damage, Commander.
missiles to hit a single spot
Light damage, Commander.
on a mech. So LRMs have 2 problems. One is that the animations take a long time to resolve. So kind of wastes a lot of your time using LRMs. And that second point of the damage gets spread across a lot of different armor points, and you'd really rather be able to focus that in. So
Targeting for an alpha strike.
that's why I tend to use
Waiting for orders.
exclusively UACs when I can get away with it, and for all of my energy-based weapons, mostly
Gotcha.
just lasers.
Good to go.
Or, you know,
Full speed.
try
No
to
target.
use the SRMs instead of LRMs.
Engaging target. Target building destroyed.
Yes, Commander.
Guess while we're just finishing clearing
Position
these guys
confirmed.
out, can talk about the progression of the
Firing
mech
on
warriors. I always go for the
Target eliminated.
multi-target
Commander.
ability first.
On my way.
Gives you the most
Got it.
flexibility whenever you've got, you know, a unit or something
hear
that
ya.
just needs 1 hit to go down, and you don't want to
Pedal to the metal.
dump all of your weapons into them. And then the next is to get the bulwark
Losing lots of armor.
bonus as well as the extra hit points. So going
All weapons
for
committed.
multi-target, then into bulwark, and then only 4 points into piloting. That gives you an extra point into stability.
You betcha.
That's really helpful so that you
All
don't get
weapons are go.
knocked over, and can keep your
You like
evasion
that?
points
What's up,
even
Doc?
after you get hit a couple of times.
Coordinates received.
Then the rest of it you just dump
Giving him
almost
everything
purely
I've got.
into tactics. Just the main goal is to get up to that
One
called
for
shot
the scraps.
mastery so that we can try to hit some headshots in the late
Aye,
game.
aye.
So
On my way.
Got it.
Engaging target.
alright, so just about to enter the prison battle here.
Destroyed.
And there are a couple of different ways you can go about this.
Roger that.
I used to just ignore
Don't
the
need to tell
Jenner
me twice.
and focus on killing
Move order
the
received.
Centurion first. But sometimes that Jenner will do
Sit tight,
really
man.
dumb stuff,
Lady Arano is aware of the situation.
like run away
Reinforcements are on the way.
at a really high speed, and so it's got like 6 evasion, and it's way on the other side of the map. And now, like, all of a sudden, you're like, what the hell? How do I kill that guy and still deal with this trebuchet that's bombing me every turn?
Standing by.
So it makes it actually just a lot easier if you can get that Jenner destroyed immediately. Then worry about the Centurion, and hope that Kamea doesn't just kick the door down and destroy your tasty JagerMech before you have a chance to incapacitate the pilot.
Minimal damage on.
So that's what you'll see me do
Receiving.
here.
I read you, Commander. Moving out.
Couple of missed shots here with my most accurate weapons. A little bit annoying, but such is life.
All weapons committed. Enemy mech. Critical
Orders.
damage detected.
And a really nice thing
Affirmative.
about using the Vindicator for
Let's
this
see how
story
you like
mission
Fight harder, damn you! We can't let this prison fall!
and just getting rid of the blackjack entirely is that you almost always get tunneled
Roger.
on the blackjack. And if you don't lose an arm and whatever weapons are on that arm because of that tunneling, then you got really lucky. So it's
My
just
internals are taking
super
a beating.
annoying to have that
Waiting
at
for
all.
orders.
Alright, so here we are. We're just continuing
Moving
to try to take down this Centurion. And at this moment where I take out the leg and knock him down, it starts to go through my mind of like, ooh, we injured the pilot, and the center torso isn't that damaged. Should I try to get that one? The Centurion is quite good. But I'm like, no. Like, what am I thinking? I'm never gonna get it. It takes 4 hits to kill it.
Engaging physical attack.
Just take it out and try to
Good
get
to
the
go.
JagerMech. So that's what I do here. And you'll see that I'm moving my guys in even like
that.
inside of LRM range and stuff.
Target's taken a
Very
critical hit.
inaccurate.
Yes, Commander.
But I'm doing that to try to get as close as possible
Good to go.
to the JagerMech.
I copy. Confirmed.
Get a nice connection there. Take the center torso out. And now it all comes down
Mech
to
destroyed.
what does the JagerMech do? Oh, he runs forward. That's lovely. But he has his back to the wall where Kamea is about to come in.
I'm under heavy fire.
And we know that she is going to blast him. So, gotta hope that she doesn't take him out. Again, really thin armor on this JagerMech, particularly in the back. And any crit on the center torso is going to take out the machine gun ammo or the AC2 ammo that's in there. Alright, so we're going to get to work on this guy.
Engaging physical attack.
And we miss. Lovely.
No damage detected.
And again, if she doesn't one-shot him right here, she's certainly going to destroy him on her second turn. So the fact that we missed that connection on the physical attack is just so annoying. Now
Order.
it's like we have to get just perfect.
Location confirmed. Locked on. Waiting on you.
Commander.
Perfect connections.
Roger. Putting my weight into it. Critical hit, Commander.
Alright, so take out the arm, don't get the torso, which is unfortunate, but we do get the knockdown. So that's
can I
1
do for
damage.
ya?
He's got 2 left.
Got it.
And now I'm going to try
what to
to
shoot.
take out that left torso or the right torso. Don't get it. And it's looking pretty dicey here. So we'll have
Internal
just
structure
one last
damage.
chance here to take him out before Kamea nukes him.
Engaging physical attack.
But we get the exact perfect hit here. Damage gets distributed on the leg and the torso. Gets knocked down again, the torso damage, and boom, there you go. Right before Kamea goes bananas. So because we're spending this time trying to get the JagerMech, of course, we are going to lose a little bit of time against my best splits, where I ended up just
Receiving.
destroying them straight away.
Taking the shot. Critical hit, Commander. With AC-5 ammo gone.
And there's where I realized, I think I realized it earlier, but, you know,
Special delivery!
don't have enough AC-5 ammo on that ShadowHawk to
Want
be
some
able
more?
to
Waiting for
dish
orders.
out full damage.
On it. That hit something good.
Alright, we end up having to do 1 extra round of battle because we don't quite do enough damage. And
All weapons committed.
have to shoot him several more
Good to go.
times.
Waiting on you, Commander. This should be good. Commander. Roger that.
Ready for orders.
It just
All
keeps going.
weapons
But
are
we
go.
finally get the final amount of damage. And there we go. Alright, so now we're going to have the
That's a
JagerMech,
kill.
which means we can get rid of the
Mission
Vindicator.
successful.
Checking to see if there's any good weapons. The only other thing that you really look for besides the most expensive mech salvage to just sell for cash is good medium lasers and good SRM6s to put onto your stalkers, which are going to be sort of our first core assault mechs. Alright, so now that we're done with Weldry, we've got 3 stores to check, all of which are mining planets, to see if we can get good UACs, and to try to pick up more salvage parts for our first Stalker. So that's really what we're looking for here. Can we get Stalker pieces, and can we find UAC 5s, 10s, or 2+ or 2 AA+?
That mech you wanted is back online.
We're also going to do a game reset here most of the time. I was a little bit too excited because I got the JagerMech, and so I didn't do a game reset. But normally I would suggest doing the game reset right there and just getting it out of the way before you do any travel
Training confirmed, Commander.
and
Commander,
before you try to take on
I hear ya.
the 3
Mech
side
warrior
missions that
training
you have to
complete.
abort.
Training confirmed, Commander.
You take your 4 points in piloting before you start dumping into tactics, just to make sure that you have that extra unsteady threshold.
New equipment available.
Alright, so I find a rangefinder plus.
Sure thing.
It's not the greatest. Could have definitely waited, but I figured I'd just pick it up now
Bio command.
because I am going to want it later.
Job's done, Commander.
You don't want to put the rangefinder
upgrades you asked
on
for
early
are
though.
online,
So if you do
All right,
find
I'll get
one
the team on
and
it
you
right
have the
away.
money to buy it, just hold on to it You want it for the end game, not right now. The reason for that is that if you can see your enemies, then they can see you. I guess the game just sort of decides that like they get a rangefinder too whenever you have one.
New
I don't know, it's
equipment
weird.
available.
So I find a UAC 2 Plus. It's not the greatest, but I've got space. For another autocannon on the JagerMech. So I buy it. And when you do get the JagerMech, you have to be really careful that you don't just like, oh boy, look at all these guns that I can mount. That thing is incredibly fragile. It is a glass cannon, the way that it comes. So you need to allocate
Hey,
2,
boss,
if not 3
we just
tons
completed those upgrades.
to armor on that. Yeah, some of these I don't really have that much experience with. They don't come up all the time. So I just like click something and lose morale, I guess. Whatever.
Waypoint reached, Commander.
Alright, so we find a nice
New
UAC
weapon
10
systems available.
to fill out our autocannon spots. With that UAC 10 going to go onto our Centurion. Here I am trying to remember there was something that I was going to change, and it was putting an AC5 ammo onto my other ShadowHawk, and I could not remember. I was like, what the hell? I was supposed to do something. And then I just was like, I'm going to waste too much time. Let me just focus on getting the UAC 10 onto my Centurion, and I'll remember what it was later. Well, I don't. In any case, Centurion is fantastic. You can armor it up a little bit. You can fit a UAC 10 and a large laser on it, as well as the 3 tons of ammo that you need. It's just absolutely a monster in the early game, which is why you'd love to pick up a second one if you could. Get that AC2 ammo out of the center torso. That is not where it belongs. If that gets crit, it's going to blow up and take out your whole guy. So definitely load up your arms to the maximum. And then if you put 100 armor on everything, it's a nice even round number on your tonnage. So here I am just like staring at this like, oh, I don't have enough armor. I don't really want to get rid of another weapon, but you just have to. You just have to. You can leave a couple of the lasers on, that is an option. If you add some heat sinks, but yeah, just going up to 100. And that's still a little bit too weak in my opinion, but you can get away with it in these early story missions.
I'll let you know when that's done.
As long as you don't show your back to anyone. And here, another opportunity to put that ton of ammo on, and I miss it. Because I knew there was something, I just was like, oh, maybe it was the rangefinder? I don't know. Or the cockpit mod. Alright, so now the nice thing about the sequence at post-Weldry is that you end up here at Ichlangus, and it has easy missions where you're not going to lose a lot of reputation, and a lot of them. So it's the perfect spot to end. You get to go search all those stores, try to find your stalker pieces, your guns, and then just sort of slam jam through these withdrawals, because you got to do 3 of them before you can get to Panzer. Hope everyone's enjoying the commentary over this this run as well. I know I'm just kind of running my mouth, but I figured it would be good to kind of dive into the strategy a little bit, as it's certainly evolved a lot for me. The first time I did a speed run on this game, I didn't know about the memory leak, and so I was just doing it all on one run, and my god, the load times were insane by the mid and late game. The strategies for how to get through, in particular, the Panzer attack, like how to get the enemies to target you and not the turrets. You know, it took me a while to figure that out. Then the Smithin attack as well. For a long time, I was just like trying to run over into the corner and fight the guys one at a time and going like 17 rounds deep of combat. When, no, you can just run straight forward and use the crates to blow them all up. So, figured that one out. Grave robbing, the strategy on that one being able to not fight anyone after the initial battle is over by just ejecting your pilot is one that I'm particularly proud of. I'll talk more about all of that as we get closer to it, but yeah, it's sort of fun to me how sophisticated the strategy has become given where I started. Alright, so we're still just going through these side missions. One thing too that I noticed is you're always going to be at 30 or lower on your morale due to these three side missions taking away one morale point every time you withdraw. It's just the way it is. And so even if you try to, you know, go to your engineering tab there and add the crew lounge or whatever that adds one morale point, you're just never going to hit that break point at 31. So there's no point in spending the money and having the extra upkeep cost at this stage. So after Panzer, you can go ahead and add it, but in the past I was always doing it first, and it's just money, extra money being spent for no reason, so I changed that. Alright, we're finally on our way to Panzer.
That work order you submitted?
Ready to go over financials whenever you are.
Our nest egg is just about gone, Commander.
And so it looks like I actually do hit another whatever, payday or whatever you want to call it, month end. And I think I did actually get to 31. You know, if you do an extravagant payout, then you earn 2 morale points. And so that got me from 29 up to 31. So I suppose if that's like an important aspect for you at this battle, you could wait around and get that extra.
Good hunting, Commander. You bring down the control center and
I don't
we'll
think it
handle
matters
the rest.
too much
Good luck.
on this one. The turrets are going to do most of the damage for you. Alright, main thing here, get rid of these SRM carriers.
Position
Those things
confirmed.
will absolutely nuke you if they're allowed to survive. Unfortunately, I miss, and I'm going to have to put another mech onto that
Good
one.
to go.
But yeah,
On my way.
basically kill the SRM carriers,
Commencing Alpha Strike.
and if you're lucky, you'll be able to take out one of those other
Bye-bye.
vehicles.
Receiving you.
But
Position confirmed.
oftentimes it is just sort of what happens here. You have to use 3 guys to kill them. You only get to shoot the other guys with 1, and you're
One
unlikely
more for the trash heap.
to take them out.
Engaging target.
Now, the thing that I discovered about the difference between the enemies targeting you or targeting the turrets, which you really don't want them doing because you need
Light
every
damage.
turret
Holding
alive
firm.
blasting them,
Damage is
is
minor,
that you
Commander.
need to get at least one mech by the end of the battle round close to the edge, like within 2 spots, 2 dots or whatever, of
Ready
the
for
edge
orders.
of the cliff there.
Targeting for an alpha
If
threat.
you're able to get a mech that close to the edge, then the enemies will like see you or
Reporting.
something and
Enemy
be like,
vehicle.
oh, target them,
What's
not
up, boss?
the turrets.
Got it.
So we'll see, before this battle round ends, I need
Reporting.
to have somebody
Vehicle
within
destroyed.
2 dots of the edge,
Waiting on you,
and
Commander.
I'm able to do that.
Got it. Hostile on sensor.
If I couldn't have gotten the ShadowHawk there and attacked, I would have had to sprint there and then used the JagerMech to try to take it out
weapons committed.
before it ends this sort of sequence here.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Dialogue there, though, says target the battle mechs. That's what you want. The other dialogue option is target the turrets, and they go to town, taking all those turrets out, and then this is basically impossible. Alright, of all the units that you have to worry about the most, the Hunchback is the one.
Yes,
It's
Commander.
got a UAC-20 on board, and that
Affirmative.
thing might just get a lucky shot, hit you in the head, kill you, or take out a weapon
Waiting for
system or
orders.
something. So, yeah,
I read
dump
you,
everything
Commander.
you've got
Moving out.
into that Hunchback
Firing everything I've got.
before it gets into range.
Yes, Commander.
The nice thing is that the CPU control of
Roger.
these
Full
guys
speed.
is pretty god-awful on this one. They just kind of freak out by getting targeted by all of these turrets, and oftentimes are just like standing around, not even trying to shoot you. So, added benefit of having them target you and not the turrets. The Hunchback is actually a pretty decent unit as well. It's not great, certainly not as good as the JagerMech, but if you didn't get the JagerMech or the Centurion on the previous story battle, it's worth putting a little bit of effort into getting the Hunchback. You only need to do 3 points of damage to the pilot, and definitely doable
copy.
if you can target the side torso after it gets knocked down. I'd try that here anyways, just because why not pick up an extra mech for the extra money.
I hear ya. Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to take out the right torso. I killed the left torso, and now it's like, oh, okay,
There's
well,
more where that
just
came
one
from.
piece left to shoot.
Waiting for orders. On the move.
But
Copy
what always
that.
happens, you shoot them dead center and blow up the whole thing. Perfect.
Target eliminated.
Engaging target.
Yeah, so not a ton of strategy here, just shoot whatever you can. Several of the mechs will sort of give you their back a lot of the time, and it makes it really easy to take them out. We'll see that here in a second. But once you're
Waiting
down to
for
just a
orders.
few enemies remaining, you
Moving
kind of
to
want to
position.
shift from using all 4 of your guys to attack and send one of the ShadowHawks, which is the fastest unit that
Tango
you have,
down.
to run towards the little,
Waiting for orders.
whatever, command center tower or whatever the hell it is that you need to take out.
All weapons are go.
Because if you wait until all of the enemies are dead
When I
to
shoot
then
you, you'll
run
take
up
it
there,
and like it.
you kind of miss out on like an extra
Commander,
turn,
move
basically.
order received. All weapons are go.
And that can be about a minute, maybe more.
Mech destroyed.
decide to go for the legs here. Once you knock them down, the turrets have a real easy time taking them out, but didn't quite work out. For anyone who's not aware either, so you can get full mech salvage, like get the full mech, by incapacitating the pilot without destroying the center torso. You can destroy the head, and then if you destroy both legs, it will also take the mech out of combat, but you'll only get 2 pieces of salvage. You won't get the full 3. Which is a little bit weird to me. Seems like
Standing by.
the legs should
Roger
be pretty
that.
easily replaceable, but you only get two pieces.
Let's see how you like this.
I'm just trying to get him out of the game. I don't care about the salvage,
Hostile
but
eliminated.
we managed to knock him down.
I hear ya.
And now it's time to send one of these ShadowHawks towards
Orders?
target. Down to just 2 guys here, so it's just taking them out and
Engaging target.
getting done. Trebuchet there takes a couple hits in the head, and that's enough for the pilot to go down. Just checking my splits there, see that yes, I'm right at about an hour, which is kind of right where you want to be when you finish up Panzer.
Receiving
I
you.
think if you're at an hour or a few minutes
On the move.
over, you're in a really
Giving
good
him
spot.
everything I've got. Good to go. Going turbo.
Ready for orders.
Alright, so up until
Aye,
this
aye.
point, we wanted the ShadowHawk,
Affirmative.
and then we wanted either the JagerMech or the Centurion, right? Pretty tough to get either of those,
Engaging
so
target.
whether you have them or not, the next thing that you really need to have is a Stalker. If you don't get a Stalker before you try the Smith and attack, good luck. I think it's definitely possible, but how many rounds you're going to need to do, even using the crates to destroy most of your enemies, I don't know. It's probably doable. I just always fixate on getting a Stalker that early. An added benefit of getting the Stalker that early is that then when you go back to the stores that you found your initial pieces at, the Stalker pieces may have sort of repopulated there, because oftentimes there's only one available at a given store, so buying them as early as possible gives you the best
That's
opportunity to
true.
find more
Waiting
later,
on you,
because
Commander.
2 Stalkers is kind of the sweet spot.
Roger that. Firing on.
Alright, so come in with a nice little time save here, a little bit ahead of my best
Mission.
run. Just under an hour and 2 minutes. And of course got that trebuchet. Here I'm just looking for high quality SRM6s. The 50% crit is kind of not that good. It's not great, but you really want +2 or +4 damage on those. But anything over base will take. Alright, so now, Smith and Attack is next. Want the Stalker, and can consolidate UAC-5 from one of my ShadowHawks onto the JagerMech. That's going to be the goal.
That mech you wanted is back online.
And here's the game doing what it loves to do, which is save after everything and gum up the works. Alright, so no Stalker here, that sucks. No good weapons here, that sucks. So we're gonna have to fly around a little bit.
Orders.
It's good to get in the habit
Mech
of
warrior training
Waiting for
complete.
orders.
Training
upgrading
confirmed.
I hear
your
ya.
mech
Training
warriors
complete.
before you
Mech
do anything
warrior
else,
training
just so you don't
complete.
forget.
All right, I'll get the team on it right away.
And here we go. We're going to fly off to
Calculating course now,
Mector,
Commander.
another mining colony. God, these ones suck where it's like you just,
Those upgrades you asked for?
you're going
are
to suffer no
online,
matter what.
Commander. Looks like we've arrived, Commander.
Alright, no Stalker here either, which sucks, but they do
New
have an
equipment
Exchanger
available.
and that is a very clutch item for your
Your
main
command.
Stalker. And we're very fortunate we get a Black Market unlock here before Smithin, which is really good. That's one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet. You want to make sure that you always have 500k of just like free floating cash available, so that if and when that Black Market offer comes to you, that
New
you can buy it.
equipment Available.
There's nothing worse than having like 480,000 and being like, nah, it's probably not going to get offered yet, and flying to your next destination, and then sure enough it gets offered, like, and you have to turn it down. You have to have that Black Market for a good run, so you can't miss out on that opportunity. Alright, just selling a bunch of stuff. You can definitely go overboard trying to sell stuff all the time and killing a bunch of time here, because it's really, you're not gaining that much, a few 100k, but sometimes that's the difference between you going bankrupt or not. So main thing here, yeah, scrapping all of the stuff that you're never going to use, and you'll see I've got just enough here to potentially buy a Stalker piece. And now here I am like, oh yeah, I don't need to fly to Ichlangus maybe. Let me check the Black Market that I just bought and see if there's a Stalker piece there. And sure enough there is. They're always more expensive, and there's also a UAC 5 double plus that I would love to buy, but yeah, gonna need that Stalker.
New equipment available.
And because we've got that, we can get rid of my ShadowHawk, and now I can also get rid of the stupid one that was short a ton of ammo. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, part of me really wanted to buy that UAC 5 double plus, and I actually think I could have gotten away with it after I sort of rewatched this back. But I didn't want to run into a situation where I would go bankrupt. I go ahead and throw the rangefinder on here, even though this is going to be the main mech for my main character for a few missions. Probably would have been better to just take the
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
the cockpit mod off of one of these other ones, but not that big of a deal. Alright, here we get to have both AC5s, UAC, excuse me, I guess no, only one UAC5. That's right, just the one. But 30 ammo, gonna be good enough for 10 full cycles, that should be fine.
Log and note. Shouldn't be too hard.
And everything else looking pretty good. This one just like takes forever. I was worried that I soft blocked somehow, which will happen sometimes, and it's just the absolute worst when you're on a good run. So if you're going to do any speed running on this game, for sure make sure that you aren't saving to the Steam cloud. So you have to turn that off in your settings, because that's how you'll soft lock the worst, is that it'll be trying to communicate with the Steam cloud or something when you exit the game to restart it.
Command interface initiated.
And then it just like corrupts the save file and you're cooked. But even when you're just saving on your local drive, I've had it happen. I had it happen one time. I was on world record pace, and yeah, happened right before the very end game too. So that's pretty frustrating, but doesn't happen very often. Usually I'm just trying to choose the lowest difficulty missions. I think I'm pretty sure anyways, I guess I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that you suffer greater reputation damage the higher the difficulty that you withdraw from. Quite certain of that. So it just keeps your
Command interface initiated.
your pricing at the various stores that you go to as low as possible to have your reputation high. Anyways, sometimes you end up choosing a mission that takes a little bit of extra time to get out of, but such is life. The worst thing is if you fly over to like Mector or something where there's the stupid urban environments. My God, those take forever to load.
Roger that, Commander. Course plotted.
We're nearly broke, Commander.
Yeah, so you're constantly hitting the escape key to try to cancel some of the animations. Some of them cannot be canceled.
We're almost
And
completely out of
sometimes
cash.
you'll sort of anticipate that you're coming up on one and hit escape
That
and it'll
work
bring
order
up
you
the main
submitted
menu, but
is complete.
that just happens. Alright, so get this locked in the way I like to have it. And now we execute the Smithin attack strategy where we use the crates. I played with the orientation of my units in a couple of different ways, and this is the one that seemed the most consistently good.
Take out those battle mechs.
There
It's mine
may
to
be a different way of arranging your units to even do better. Blowing up more guys with the
All
crates.
hands on deck. We are under attack.
But this one
not a drill.
is very consistent. And I get this janky ass camera bug where I'm like stuck in the rocks over here. Thankfully I'm able to sort of recenter the camera and get out, but God, there are some weird bugs in this game when it comes to the camera angle sometimes. Alright, so first things first, you attack this locust, but it's got infinite evasion and it's tiny, so you're just not going to do much damage to it. I like putting
Taking the shot.
Behemoth over in this spot. You take out one of the turrets. And the reason you're taking out these turrets rather than leaving them for being destroyed by that crate is that they'll get a couple cycles of missile launches at you if you leave them up.
Gotcha.
And
Good to go.
that takes a lot of time. You take damage. It's best to just shoot them.
Firing. Full complement on enemy.
And honestly, the Centurion Decker here, he should just be braced. Using Resolve and trying to shoot that little guy, like, it's probably just not worth it. But I've been trying it just to see if I can get rid of that locust. He ends up running into the crate region anyways, so honestly, I should just not even be attacking him with the Centurion there. Jenner always runs in there as well, so you've got two guys that are going to go down to the explosion. And then by just reserving and leaving Decker there as a sitting duck, the opponents just kind of run into this next little area. This cicada, though, is so annoying. It will never stop in an explosive crate region. Just won't do it. So maybe there's another way, like I said, to position your guys where the cicada will, but I haven't found it.
Standing by.
So here you're going to use your vigilance to give him the extra defense, and then run him forward to get vision of the crate. And then use anyone will do, but you know, the JagerMech here has a nice assortment of weapons where I'm guaranteed a hit on those crates.
Multiple enemies locked in.
Barring some serious misstep or bad luck. Alright, so the Griffin and the Dragon take 2 crates to take out. So that's the first one. The Jenner and the Locust go down to 1 shot. And then in an ideal scenario, you shoot the Spider here with your ShadowHawk and your Stalker, and you're able to one-shot it. But unfortunately, I don't get that this time around. Not quite enough damage. If you are able to one-shot that Spider, it almost guarantees that you're able to get out on round 5, which is the fastest that I've been able to finish this one. But going to be pretty tough to do now, given the fact that that Spider lived. And we'll see a couple other unfortunate occurrences here momentarily. Very consistent, though, here that the Griffin and the Dragon step forward into the next explosive crate region. So the Cicada's not going to do anything fun, but those two boys are very consistent.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, I decide I'm going to use Decker here. Just put him over in
Location confirmed.
a nice defensive spot. And then I try to take out that Panther that's been damaged.
Were to be expected, but we need as many of those crates as you can recruit. That's half of their fighting units down.
Because it really doesn't have
up and the facility is ours.
much threat, but it's also just another body that you need to take down. So I'm like, alright, let's see if I can get it. Nope.
Missed.
Receiving you.
So I'm going to have to try again on that one. And I'm like, alright, let's just take it out.
Might be some good salvage there.
Waiting on you, Commander. I read you, Commander. Moving out.
And now I'm thinking, can I just get rid of the Spider, please? Nope. So, not taking any chances. I just dump the full salvo.
Enemy mech destroyed.
And now I need to get pretty lucky to be able to take out the Firestarter and the Cicada in one round. But see if it works.
Waiting for orders.
You betcha. Yeah, critical hit.
Ready for orders. Aye, aye.
Don't do quite enough damage.
That hit something good.
Standing by.
In fact, didn't do hardly any damage to the center torso, but
Targeting for an alpha.
There's only one of
we're
them
able to get him.
left. Take it out, and this facility is ours. An enemy transport has escaped.
I hear ya. Don't need to tell me twice.
Commander. Move order received.
So the other reason that you really want to have the Stalker before this
We can
battle
salvage that.
is that you have the opportunity to go straight into the Newgrange story mission after this, because you're at Newgrange. And so to have the fastest transition possible, you defeat Smithin and Newgrange just back to back with no travel at all. Now, if you go into Smithin without the Stalker, I would not recommend doing Newgrange without it. So you're going to need to fly around to get that. You know, maybe you needed one more piece or something, and that's pretty annoying. It's just a lot of wasted time. As it stands here, I go ahead and check the store just to see if there's anything
Waiting
good there
for orders.
before I
Waiting for
do
orders.
the
Training
Newgrange
confirmed.
battle.
Commander?
Mech warrior training complete. Training complete.
And we find another UAC-5 double plus,
available.
which is a great addition for our JagerMech. Pretty incredible. 1 ton less than a regular AC-5.
On it. I'll let you know when that's done.
I've got
Those are
the
the
financial
nuts.
report.
Alright, so get that on the JagerMech, and now we get to go straight into Newgrange, which is a pretty challenging battle. You've got Victoria in her catapult that's chock full of PPCs. You've got a fire starter that'll come and light you up, and it's, you know, a Martian environment where your heat sinks suck. You got a couple of guys with some like AC-10s and lasers and all sorts of stuff. I mean, this is not an easy battle. So if you don't have a Stalker here, you're going to be in for some punishment. And even if you do have the Stalker, it's likely that they'll end up tunneling on one of your weaker guys anyways. Which is kind of what happens in
Good
this battle
hunting,
for me.
Commander. I'll be running ops for you from here.
I've got something. What can I do for you? Tell me what to shoot. Target destroyed.
There are a couple of turrets
Let's move.
in addition to the ones that we just disabled there
Waiting for orders.
that are over and around to our left right now. If you go that way and sort of, you know, try to go down this ramp
for the
over
right
here, you'll end up getting shot by that turret, or the 2 turrets over there.
Holding for tactical advantage.
Full throttle.
Maybe it's just one.
Good to go. Understood. Moving
And
fast.
just sort of take some unnecessary damage. You
Waiting
can
for
still get
orders.
hit going this way, but it's
Yes, Commander.
just a little bit less damage,
Going full throttle.
typically.
Barely hit, Commander.
4 evasion, not enough to dodge that PPC shot.
Full throttle.
Commander,
On my way. Let's see how you like this.
Yeah, UAC-2 and
Forward,
2
critical.
UAC-5s makes that JagerMech an absolute menace.
I hear ya.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. That's a kill.
Good to go. Don't need to tell me twice. Take this.
And by now we've got the called shot bonus on
Waiting
all
on
of
you,
our
Commander.
mech warriors. So
Location
a little
confirmed.
bit more likely that you can start taking some guys out by shooting them in the head. But still have to get pretty lucky for that to happen. But it's really nice. I mean, it can save you entire rounds of battle
All weapons
by
are
taking
go.
these guys out in one shot.
When I shoot you, you'll take it? Yes, Commander. Taking the shot.
So just can't quite
Think
get
I did
enough
something
damage
good.
on the center torso there. Take that ShadowHawk out, so we'll have to use the Stalker on him as well.
Enemy mech destroyed. Warning. Armor low.
I hear ya. On my way.
And by this stage of the game, you don't really benefit by picking up any of these mechs because you've got the two
Critical
ShadowHawks
hit.
and the Centurion. Excuse me, you've got a ShadowHawk and the Centurion.
Waiting
You can't
for
really
orders.
do much better than them at this point.
Confirmed. Roger that.
So just killing everything is the way to go.
Hostile removed.
Ready for orders. Position confirmed. Take that.
There could be something to be said for the
All
catapult
weapons committed.
that Victoria is driving, but it's pretty hard to incapacitate her
Waiting for
without
orders.
destroying the mech, since she
Roger
keeps
that.
machine
Fire
gun
on
ammo or
target.
some such nonsense in the
to
center
go.
torso.
Moving out.
I find it easier to just destroy her and just be done with it.
Firing.
Generators down, Commander. That should
Plus,
take their
it can't
turrets
carry
offline.
any autocannons, so I don't really care for it anyways,
Roger that. Taking the shot.
as I think, you know,
Let's do what we came here
the
for,
Stalkers
Commander.
certainly have
Take
a
that
powerful
drop
role to be
ship
played
out.
with just SRMs and lasers, but otherwise it's
Commander, that
really the
dropship is
UACs
about
that you
to
want.
take off. You have to stop it.
Alright, here we're just positioning in
What's
the
up, boss?
cover and
Standing by.
bracing everybody, getting our heats down a little bit.
position, Commander. Judging by the markings, it's a House Espinosa ship.
That must be the Defense Force Lord Kuros has warned us about. Be ready.
And this way we have three mechs that can still shoot after the baddies appear and run at us. Definitely make sure that whoever's in front, if it's your Stalker or somebody else, is braced before you initiate the battle. Otherwise, you'll get really stepped on.
Damage minimal.
Holding for the right opportunity.
Now, I make a little bit of a mistake here. So Victoria goes and runs into
What's up,
a
Bob?
bit of cover herself up there. And it's really nice to take her out early on, if you can. So I kind of fixate on that, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on her. But she's in cover, she's braced, and she has some evasion. So it turns out that I'm just not gonna do very much damage, and it's gonna be hard to hit her. And most of my other mechs can't even damage her, so I should have put all of the damage from the beginning onto this dragon.
All weapons committed.
And I kind of realized that after the first salvo and changed my targeting, but could have been definitely a little bit more efficient on this.
Waiting on you, Commander. Got it.
One thing that can really screw you up on this level
Another
is
hit
that
like
fire
and
starter.
you're toast.
You've usually got a couple of rounds before they get close enough to cook you.
Reporting
But
internal damage.
yeah, that can
Minimal damage on that hit.
mess you up real quick. All right, they're starting to tunnel on my Centurion, and they're also quite good at called shots at about this stage of the game. So yeah, they just start putting a bunch of damage on one section of your armor.
Light damage,
and
Commander.
it's not pretty.
Orders.
Now here, I don't even have a good shot at the dragon anymore, so now I even have to change targets again to the Centurion.
On it.
And yeah, always use vigilance on your Stalker here. You get to go on initiative round 2 instead of 1.
All weapons committed.
And it gives you that additional 20% damage reduction, which is critical. Unfortunate here that I can't
Critical damage detected.
destroy the Centurion, but such is life. And Victoria just keeps punishing Decker
Armor
over
breach.
here.
Internal damage.
And it's starting to feel a little bit bad, especially after this. Those were 2 more internal shots.
My internals are taking a beating. Commander.
So we kind of got to get him out of there, face him away.
Affirmative.
And here I am, I'm like, oh, can I hit this asshole? Sure you can, in the arm.
What can I do for you?
Alright, one more try at this guy,
Firing everything.
and we get him.
Suffer before you die.
Did you see that? Did you see it?
Warning. Detecting mech warrior injury.
Receiving you.
And there's the problem with not having
Firing.
a cockpit module on the mech that's going to get shot all the time. Take another 100 on the Centurion, and I'm
Not much
very
armor left in
fortunate
that.
that didn't go onto the same spot on my center torso. That would have taken him out.
All weapons committed.
And I wasn't happy that that fire starter was still alive, because even though I knocked him down, he's going to go so early in the turn order that he's going to be back up and lighting somebody on fire before I get to kill him. And this could be really bad. Thankfully, my Stalker
Detecting mech warrior injury.
has a decent amount of
I hear
heat
ya.
capacity. And
On my
we're going to
way.
be okay.
Firing all weapons.
I still can't kill it, though. It's just miserable.
Scored a critical hit.
Good to go.
So I have to
Moving
attack
out.
it again, and I am blocked, so I
This should be
can't.
good.
Oh my goodness.
Warning. Armor low.
Orders.
Alright, one more try. This time we can get him.
Roger. On it.
You will not defeat us. I will break you, mercenary scum.
And back into cover for Victoria, which is obnoxious.
Warning. Armor breached.
But she's overheating, so that's the nice thing about the enemies. Sometimes they will do stupid things.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
Waiting for orders. You betcha. Commencing Alpha Strike.
And that dragon is
Ready for
invincible,
orders.
seemingly.
Got it.
I will kill you, mercenary.
And now this battle's taken a little bit longer than I wanted. You know, we're into round 13, gonna be round 14 before I'm able to kill this Victoria Psycho.
Warning. Armor low.
And that's if we're lucky. So, yeah, a little bit behind pace now.
All weapons are go.
But at least she's a sitting duck. And a lot of times, you'll just ignite her machine gun ammo right then and there, as soon as you get through the armor on her center torso. But
Waiting on you, Commander.
it doesn't cook off
I read you,
until
Commander. Moving out.
a little bit later. There we go.
Bang!
No! It's not possible!
Alright, so not too far behind. Being a minute behind my best time here is pretty solid. We've already got the Black Market. We've got one of our Stalkers. We've got the JagerMech, which is going to be a pretty powerful unit through the grave robbing mission. So, yeah, pretty good spot. But as soon as you're done with Newgrange, now you know you only need 3 mechs. So you can sell one immediately, you get that extra cash. It frees up any of the weapons that are on that guy and saves you a little bit of cash on your next round of paychecks. So yeah, as soon as Newgrange is done, you want to sell down to 3 and ideally get another Stalker, and that allows you to sell another unit as well. So we may be able to sell the ShadowHawk and the Centurion here if we can find the pieces for another Stalker. And that's really kind of the ideal way to go into grave robbing, given the strength of those stupid heavy drones. Like, they'll just dish so much damage on you in the 2 turns or whatever that you have to sort of absorb the punishment, that if you don't have assault mechs, you're going to get wrecked. Alright, so we do another restart here. It's really unfortunate that you have to keep doing these just to keep the game running smoothly, but such is life. Alright, so we know we're going to get rid of the Centurion if we can get a Stalker. So that's what we're looking for next.
Alright, I'll get the team on it right away.
And because we're going to try to get a new Stalker and have to upgrade a bunch of the SRMs and everything on it, yeah, it's very helpful to have those additional tech points from at least one of the
Waiting on you, Commander.
upgrades. Ideally, once you kind of have like your core mechs in place, or at least you know you have enough money to get them and outfit them, then you're going to go up to 2 upgrades in that department. Whole lot of nothing here, but what about the Black Market? Hey, another 5++.
New weapon systems available.
I toy with the idea of getting that cockpit mod, but I have 3 of them already and a rangefinder, and by the end I'm gonna want to use that rangefinder, so I just decided to save the money.
Shouldn't be too hard.
But we're able to get some more armor, which is really what you want going into grave robbing. Grave robbing can just be absolutely devastating. So we're able to max out center and right torso armor and get a little bit extra on the legs. For whatever reason, they don't generally tend to target your legs, even though they're like lightly armored, so not the worst.
Calculating course now, Commander.
But we're gonna go check out another Black Market store.
That work order is complete, boss. Top-notch work, if I may say so.
And yeah, it's already bad enough
Ready to go over
that you have to take Kamea and her Kintaro on this mission. But if you have several medium mechs,
New equipment available.
it's pretty rough. Alright, so there's a whole bunch of Stalker pieces, so we can definitely get our Stalker. We're just gonna have to sell some stuff. Keep a couple of medium lasers on hand. And then here I just like totally glitch out and I sell the SRM4 thinking, you know, oh, I'm just like trying to go fast, obviously, but I end up selling so many SRMs that I don't have enough to put on this new Stalker I'm about to build. So that was a bit of a blunder. And it ends up not being the worst, but I end up just using a large laser in place of one of the SRM6s. And yeah, less than ideal.
New equipment available.
Nothing else worth buying here, so. Always want to use 2 tons for additional armor. And here I'm just trying to get one more heat
New
sink.
equipment available.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the cleanest build out, but it'll work. I'm just gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back, as we just gotta skip a couple missions anyways.
Command interface initiated. Command interface initiated.
So it took me a little while to really figure out the optimal approach to grave robbing. Initially, I was just trying to kill everything that I could see as quickly as possible while advancing towards the front of the base, the entrance or whatever. But what ends up happening if you do that is that you'll spawn the turrets that defend the base a turn or even two earlier than you can target them effectively. And new enemies will be spawning behind you that will definitely be in range of you. So you end up taking double punishment from the front and the back as you try to advance to the front of the base. So what actually makes a lot more sense is to kill all of the heavy drones and all of the medium drones except for one as you advance, leaving one full turn of that medium drone just attacking you at will, simply to gain more distance towards the front and away from the enemies that spawn on your rear. And then you're able to instantly target the turrets as they spawn before they target you, because the first two have frickin' UAC, or not UACs, but AC-20s, and will absolutely smash you if they connect. So you're always going to have somebody that gets left behind on these missions where Kamea comes along, so I just sort of consistently lose experience on Decker, because the final battle is also just 3 of your mech warriors plus Kamea, so you're gonna miss out on somebody. You may as well have one person like consistently low on experience. Anyways, here we're gonna take our assault mechs and beeline those straight for the front. Then we're gonna take Kamea and
I'm inputting a valid ID,
the
for some reason
JagerMech over to the right.
Found a workaround though.
Be careful of those things. They're armed to the teeth and coming in fast.
And that's because Kamea and Glitch are going to be able to catch up with a couple of sprints later.
Yes, I hear you.
And despite her glass cannon fragility, Kamea's Kintaro is pretty damn powerful. She can take out heavy drones with one salvo.
That's a hostile vehicle.
So she's pretty good in that respect. Obviously our JagerMech is going to make short work of these guys as well with these UAC-5s, but basically we just want to get rid of these initial 3 enemies, and then we're going to take out the 2 heavy drones that are coming at us from in front.
Targeting for an alpha strike. For the Oregon people. Reporting. Enemy vehicle.
And really what I think I should have done on this other Stalker, instead of having the medium laser, which has a much longer range than every other weapon it has, is I should have just gone with 6 medium lasers and a few extra heat sinks. And that way I would have maintained the consistency across my ranges. So there's a couple of spots where
Moving
I
fast.
think I have a shot at something, and it's actually just a single large laser. That's the only thing they can hit. So,
Damage minimal.
Waiting for orders.
a little bit of a double blunder.
Confirmed. Vehicle trashed.
So I get a nice cadence here of the heavy drones advancing just enough for me to be able to target them with my stalkers, take a bit of punishment there, but that's why you have the stalkers, is to absorb that and survive.
All weapons committed.
Okay, now if we destroy this next drone, or as soon as we destroy this next drone, those turrets are going to spawn. So we don't want to do that just yet. Which means we take a little bit of damage, but that's fine.
What can I do for you? Uh-huh.
Orders. Standing by.
Alright, so now we're going to have enemies spawning behind us, but those turrets are also going to pop up, so this is a little bit dangerous giving my back to the turrets.
Enemy vehicle down.
But my hope is that she's not going to get shot so much in the back that it'll fuck her up. My JagerMech, though, has like balsa wood for armor in the back and is already blown
Moving
through.
to position. All weapons are go.
But
That's a kill.
we're able to take out one of the big turrets and promptly get shot right in the face with a AC-20.
That got through my arm.
Good to go.
Thankfully, it doesn't take out any of our weapons.
All weapons are go.
And we're able to get rid of
One
that
less
turret. A few shots in the back. Nothing she can't handle.
Armor breach.
At least once.
All weapons committed.
Alright, so you need to take out the turrets and get somebody into that yellow region in front of the entrance in order to initiate the 4-round countdown.
Light damage, Commander.
And so ideally you're getting somebody in there you know, on round 8, which is
I hear you.
coming up right now.
I'm moving out.
Now, one thing that I discovered that's really quite handy is that once you get into the yellow region, and perhaps even before, I'm not exactly sure, but certainly once you have all of your guys inside of this little area,
Right, Commander.
you don't have to worry about all of those drones that have spawned out there coming in and continuing to shoot at you. They sort of won't go past that little narrow, rocky entranceway, and will just sit back. That is, as long as you don't have a rangefinder where you can see them out there. If you can see them out there, then they will shoot you. So you need them to be red, you know, like this guy, where you can see them on sensors, but you can't actually see them. So do not bring a rangefinder on any of your units
Heavy damage.
on this battle.
Going full speed.
Heads up! You got more of those little bastards coming in from the vents in the rock.
Probably should have just overheated here to make sure that this guy died, but I still had
Hey, we're getting outflanked.
glitch. But yeah, took some damage here, and then in my mind I had just selected glitch, but instead it was Behemoth, and now I'm like, oh god, she's gonna be taking another shot in the back here. And yeah, this is about to be really bad if I lose my JagerMech. So I'm gonna have to restart the level. So I'm pretty scared right now. And here comes the shot.
They're looping around back.
Whew, thank God it's a miss. Alright.
Good to go.
So now, all we have to do is move our guys all the way to the back to where there's no chance that we can be seen, and we just pass our turn.
To victory. Location confirmed.
Affirmative. Commander. Affirmative.
Yeah, and they just sit out there and don't come any
Standing by.
closer. So, nice little way to
Got it.
save some
Samira,
time.
Broadcast this now.
I used to just sit in the front and try to kill them. And God knows how many minutes I was wasting with all the attack animations. Alright, so at this point, just about 40 seconds off of my best time. Pretty good. See if we find any good weapons. No, but we do have some SRM6s that we can use to replace that large laser whenever I get around to it. And now comes one of the most fun levels in the game, Escape, where we get to use some pretty badass mechs for a little bit, dish out a bunch of damage. The main story here is that we've got a lot of kind of small to medium units that we need to clear as quickly as possible. And then sort of run with Kamea
Just a heads up.
to the extraction
When we
point.
get to a safe distance, I'm going to set off a little surprise.
I suppose that it's possible to
Surprise.
sort of execute the same strategy that I use with every mech that isn't Kamea and just eject them rather than run them. But I don't think it will save that much time, so I don't really bother with it. But what I used to do
We've got company.
was just really long and drawn out. And it was really exciting when I realized, oh, I can literally just eject this pilot, Reynard, and I don't have to get him back to the extraction point.
Systems holding. Orders. Moving to position.
I like just dumping everything onto this commando to just get rid of it.
Enemy down.
It's really annoying when you have multiple targets you have to focus on, because inevitably you'll try to like split your damage to be efficient,
You have my attention.
and you won't kill anything.
I'm on my way.
I get very fortunate here as able to take out the Jenner with one shot. Don't quite get the fire starter, but that's okay.
Reporting a critical strike.
What do you need? Let's move.
It's definitely a roll of the dice. Low probability to hit, but if we do, we can take them out.
Tango down.
Reporting. Heavy damage.
So in a lot of these levels, the encounter will sort of end if you destroy all of the enemies.
Here it comes.
And I definitely used to approach this one
Target's taking a critical hit.
as though I needed to kill all of the enemies. Not only was it sort of fun, you got a lot of salvage at the end of some pretty powerful mechs in case, you know, you actually accumulated some of these pieces and put one together. Or perhaps like we're able to shoot a guy in the head or something, right? But it just took forever because it's just like assault mech versus assault mech at the end of this battle.
Reporting minimal damage.
So
Reading loud and
really
clear.
kills
Affirmative.
a speed run.
Eliminating hostile. If you had any sense, you'd retreat.
Yeah? Copy that. I'm taking the shot.
So the Gauss rifle,
Hostile
one
removed.
of the most
director is
iconic,
not
most
wrong.
powerful weapons in any mech game.
Roger that. Standing by.
Extraordinarily
I'm on
effective
it.
against vehicles, since they have such a small internal structure
Yep.
count.
On it.
So, yeah, you really love to shoot vehicles with a Gauss rifle
Multiple targets confirmed.
if you can hit them. Which I don't.
Waiting for orders. Heading out. Confirmed. Vehicle down.
Standing by. On it.
I love how seriously the Reynard voice actor took his job. Like, he just sounds ridiculous, everything that he says.
Waiting for orders.
But, like, there's just... He was definitely enjoying
Firing all weapons.
what he was doing. Alright, a few more guys to clean
I'm
up
under
here,
heavy fire.
and then
Yes, Commander.
it's a mad dash
Copy.
to the extraction zone for 3 of our units. And Reynard heads off to kill himself.
Hostile room.
Standing by. All weapons locked on and firing.
Somehow that
Infantry,
Panther
aye, aye.
survives that.
Here we go.
But we have a better result that time.
Vehicle trashed.
Alright, so the extraction zone
what
is
you asked.
down this hill,
Position confirmed.
and you have to get at least one of your units over
Moving to
down
position.
by this other
Run,
rock
Major Runner. Run as far as
in
you
order
can.
to
I will
trigger the
find you all the
cutscene
same. Go ahead and run,
to
Major.
advance.
You won't get far.
So, instead of fighting anybody, which
Copy
occurs
that.
once you actually initiate the cutscene,
Move
you
out.
just run everybody to the extraction
Confirmed.
point, and then Reynard goes past this
Understood.
rock, triggers the
I told
cutscene,
you would die here.
and then literally
Say
just
goodbye to your
commits
rival.
suicide,
Oh, shit.
and
Incoming!
you're all good. First time I did this, I was like laughing my ass off. I couldn't believe that I had been missing this the entire time. But look how simple that was. Didn't even have to fire a single shot. Boom, done. Alright, wasting a little bit of time here because none of this stuff is important, but it is nice to get those good medium lasers and SRM6s if you can find them. Alright, so next up is defending Smithin. And there's a lot of small units, several medium units, even a big unit, assault mech that you need to take down. So it's pretty important that you have a lot of firepower. We've got the 2 stalkers. We get the
Waiting for orders.
Training complete.
Yes, Commander.
the Atlas. No, it's
Commander?
not the Atlas. Whatever the hell
Warrior
this thing
training
is that we
complete.
have. Highlander.
Training
We've got the
confirmed,
Highlander.
Commander.
And the JagerMech obviously is not a terrible unit, right? 2 UAC-5s, got the UAC-2. But really, we'd like to have an Annihilator. The Annihilator is really the unit that just sort of carries you
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
through the late game. And pretty much I consider Smith and Defend as the beginning of the late game. So if we can get an Annihilator now,
Ready to go over financials.
things are going to go really smoothly. And that's kind of what you need now to like save time, right? I'd like to think
Commander. I'll get the crew moving.
that I've got a pretty good times going into this one. Just, you know, 5 minutes, 4 hours and 5 minutes. So to beat that time, gonna need some good luck. And that would involve getting an early Annihilator and being able to just cruise right on over to Smithin and knocking it out. Another big piece of that too, though, is that you need the right weapons to put on the Annihilator. And the ideal scenario is 5 UAC-5 double pluses. Like, they have reduced recoil penalties. They have reduced weight so that you can put more heat sinks on and more ammo, and you can basically just fire 10 AC-5 shots every round with very little accuracy penalty. It's incredible. So you really, really want to find those UAC-5 double pluses. Well, what do you know? We got our Annihilator at our first Black Market stop. Alright, so I'm saving my large lasers just in case I'm going to end up putting them on my Highlander. But it all just kind of depends on how things fit. So here's a UAC-2 double plus, which is actually the perfect weapon to put on my Highlander. So I'm going to pick that up.
Weapon systems available.
Yeah, plus 10 damage per shot and minus 2 tons. That thing is absolutely epic. And my initial thought is to go with this PPC double plus, but I don't get to add any extra armor, and I will actually have some heat problems. So I'm kind of trying to figure out whether or not that's the smartest move, or put a large laser and extra armor. And I settle on the large laser and extra armor, and I think that's correct.
On it. I'll let you know when that's done.
Alright, now time to beef up this Annihilator. So you get the minus 2 recoil on the UAC double plus. So best to put those on the torso as opposed to the arms that get the little extra aiming bonus. And now it's just a matter of trying to optimize how much ammo I have. And this is the guy that you're going to want the rangefinder on. So the Annihilator is going to be your frontline tank and damage dealer for the final battle, basically, or the second to last battle. And if you don't have the rangefinder on him, bad things will happen. I'll talk more about it when we get there, but definitely want a rangefinder on this unit. At least the way that I approach that second to last battle. Here I am just doing some math, trying to figure out if I have enough ammo. I decide that I'm probably only going to need 8 full cycles of the UAC-10, and that's if I'm lucky, just because that one does have such recoil penalty that
Logged and noted.
8 cycles is probably the most I'll get.
Right. I'll get it in the
Alright,
stick.
time to finally get that stupid large laser off of there, but I forget to.
Command interface initiated. Command interface initiated.
Roger that, Commander. Course plotted.
I've got the financial report.
We're nearly broke, Commander.
So the nice thing is, once you get the Annihilator, and you've pretty much got all the weapons that you need on it, that means that you aren't going to be spending any more money. You don't really need to be hunting any more weapons, traveling around, looking at the black market. And every dollar that you have and that you earn can pretty much just be spent on increasing and maintaining your morale.
Our nest egg is just
and
about gone, Commander.
buying, you know, maybe some new engineering upgrades to make your ship go faster, things of that nature. This first stop here, of course, is just, whatever, just dialogue. So, not really a mission here at Weldry. And we can just continue on our way over to Smithen
Calculating course now, Commander.
to defend against the attack. Now, the interesting strategy on this one, right? You've got 3 drop ships that are coming in to rescue your people or whatever. Enemies are streaming in at high speed, trying to get into range, and then shoot the fuel tanks to blow up your drop ships. Basically, the guys don't really shoot at you pretty much the entire time. So you just kind of position your guys and
We're nearly broke,
blast
Commander.
away. The first dropship that comes in, not possible for your enemies to destroy the fuel tank, as long as you are able to handle the individual units that run in from the front of the base. And once you have an Annihilator, the 2 Stalkers, the Highlander, like, you're not gonna miss those guys enough to have them survive. So don't really have much to worry about with dropship number 1. Dropship number 2, on the other hand, I lose regularly. You're allowed to lose 1, and that's not a big problem as far as like mission success.
Good luck, Commander. The Taurians aren't going to make this easy.
Sort of letting
Protect
them
our
blow up
ships.
the second one
Help
is usually
them get our
okay.
people home safe.
And then dropship number 3, normally you will have already dealt with all of the bad guys. They're not really going to be able to do much damage to that fuel tank. I don't really have problems with that, but yeah, it's nice that the enemies are wasting a bunch of time shooting at things that are not you, so you don't have to worry about, you know, your mechs getting cooked. So first things first, this Jenner runs in, has a bunch of evasion. You're going to want to go and attack it with a physical
Commander.
attack to try to get that evasion off.
On my way. Target's taken a critical hit.
And when an assault mech attacks like a light or a medium mech, it does a lot of stability damage. So able to take the evasion away, take it down, and then whether you have these 2 guys that could attack it if need be, otherwise just run them
Waiting
forward.
for orders. Moving fast.
Get them prepared to take out the next batch of guys that run in particular that Thunderbolt there.
Concentrate all fire on those dropships. Take them out, or you'll have Ostergaard to answer to.
We've got an unknown on sensors.
So these 2 light mechs that come in over here will start shooting at that fuel tank, but they don't have enough damage to blow it up before the ship takes off, so that's nice. So priority number 1 is this Thunderbolt. And then the Jenner that is behind it. Those will potentially start attacking the fuel tank and could blow it up if you ignore them. But as long as you focus on them, you know, you're going to do a bunch of damage to this Thunderbolt, knock it down, and then you should be able to just take it out.
Commander.
Firing. Full complement on enemy. One less target.
Ready for orders. Location confirmed.
And a lot of times, I won't even be shooting at this guy this round. And yeah, I decide against it. No sense in heating up and getting recoil on my weapons when I have such a low probability of hit.
Advance. For honor, for liberty, and for the Taurian conquered it.
And as is usually the case, the Jenner kind of gives you their back and attacks that turret. So that's an easy kill now.
Surrendering to Commodore Ostergaard. Until you do, your people will suffer for you.
So there's the Battle Master. That's the sort of one big boy that you have to worry about. But with these 3 mechs that I've got left to act, not going to be a problem.
Waiting for orders.
As long as you kill the Jenner with your first attack action, you will get the sensor lock from one of the turrets onto the Battle Master, which takes 2 of the evasion off. Really helpful, so definitely don't attack the Battle Master first in the turn. And yeah, homie is already getting pretty thin in the armor department. See if we can't take him out.
All weapons are go.
Easy peasy.
Hostile removed.
Most of the assault mechs that you run into aren't very good. The Battle Master is kind of decent. You know, like if you were just playing the game through casually, you might be like somewhat interested in fitting one out with a bunch of energy weapons and, you know, kind of having some fun with it. But for a speed run, there's no value in trying to capture that one. The Stalker, the Annihilator, and the Highlander that you get are just far and away the best. I've toyed with the idea of trying to go double Annihilator instead of double Stalker.
All weapons committed.
But you get so many more SRM6s, medium lasers are a dime a dozen. Like, it's just so easy to outfit a Stalker.
Aye, aye.
With the weapons. They're all just very common and do a ton of damage. Versus the UAC 5s, 10s, maybe 2s that you'd be putting on an Annihilator. It's very unlikely that you're going to find enough of them over the course of the game to outfit 2 of them. So, not really an option.
And stay down. Good to go.
Okay, so we took care of those 2 guys. Now we get to start working on the enemies over here on the side, which if we're able to take out this Jenner, which we are, then it's going to be virtually impossible for them to blow up the second fuel tank. And that's a little extra money in our pocket. I do wish that you could target the fuel tanks yourself. Like, once the dropship is gone and the enemies run into that zone, like, you should be able to shoot the fuel tank and blow it up to take them out. Like, why not? But as far as I can tell, it is an untargetable item for you. It's like trying to target one of your own mechs or a turret or something. Like, it's just not allowed. Here's where I realize I still have that stupid medium, or the stupid large laser on there that's tricking me when it comes to my
Target confirmed.
Firing range.
Target neutralized.
I like to keep the Highlander up high to get the additional aiming bonus. So that's why I jump them up there. And you definitely always keep the jump jets on the Highlander. Don't think that saving 3 tons of space for more weapons and ammo is going to be good for you. It's going to come in real handy on the extraction mission.
Hostile eliminated.
And on Turlon as well. Gotta have it on Turlon. Okay, few last guys to clean up, and we're on pace for a pretty good time save here at this point. And it's pretty insane how much of the game, like how much time gets eaten up by flying around to the different Black Market locations trying to find an Annihilator or UAC-5, something like that.
Enemy.
So having all of these weapons on an Annihilator here at Smith and Defend about halfway through the run is incredible. Like, that's such a good spot. We don't have to do any more hunting. In fact, don't even have to open the store if, you know,
Mission successful.
if we don't think there's going to be anything good there. Like, if we're not at a Black Market store, there's no point in even looking. Alright, get one decent laser, or the best medium laser. And it's just going to be on to Itrom, which is, you know, basically not even a mission. It's just a single battle with some very weak mechs and a lot of running. Alright, another restart to speed up the game. So yeah, just about 5 minutes ahead of my best time there at the end of Smith and Defend. Pretty awesome. My goal coming into this run was to beat 4 hours. I'd been on pace to beat 4 hours on, I think, 2 occasions, and then something went horribly wrong. I had one
Training confirmed.
What can I do for you?
save state be corrupted that shut me down, and then another time I had a mech get destroyed by a lucky headshot from an enemy. That was pretty awful.
On it.
Alright, we're finally going to get rid of this large laser.
Logged and noted. Shouldn't be too hard.
Command interface initiated.
And you can see just how fast you can skip through these side missions after a game restart, right? I mean, start to finish, from like selecting the mission all the way back to the main menu.
Calculating course now, Commander.
I mean, we're talking like 20 seconds.
Job's done, Commander.
Maybe 30. I don't know. I guess I didn't really pay that close of attention, but it's very quick. And then after like 45 minutes of gameplay, I mean, you're tacking on 15 seconds.
Got a new financial report for you, Commander.
Warriors, prepare for combat.
Alright, this is the most straightforward mission in the game. You just run in, trigger the battle, wipe out the enemies, turn around and run right back.
Command interface initiated.
While capturing one working silo is your primary objective, we can always use more. The Restoration will pay an additional bounty for each silo you capture beyond the first. Good hunting, Commander.
Affirmative.
Don't need to tell me twice.
Acknowledged.
On my way.
Got it.
Location confirmed.
You're getting close, Commander. Be careful with your positioning. If they pick up a visual on you, they'll go on high alert, sensors or no sensors.
I hear ya. Uh-huh.
Receiving you. On the move. Full speed.
Alright, so they've got a stupid blackjack down here and an SRM carrier, so I usually just try to take those out first.
I've got eyes on the enemy.
And it's always funny when you just like cook off the AC2 ammo that for whatever reason they keep in the center torso there.
Location confirmed. Copy that.
And there you have it. AC2 ammo explosion. Bye-bye.
What can I do for you? Moving fast.
Going full throttle. Losing armor.
All weapons committed. Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
Standing by. Roger that. On it. Heat damage. Damn it.
Good to go. This should be good.
Usually I defeat all of these guys on the second round here, but not quite going to be the case this time. Unless I
Commander?
split my salvos.
Engaging multiple targets.
And I'm able to do it.
Nicely done, Commander. The storage silo is ours. I'm marking an evac zone on your map. Whenever you're ready, you may proceed there for extraction.
Moving to position.
Coordinates received.
On my way.
Move order received.
Aye, aye.
You betcha.
Got it.
Move order received.
Moving out.
Heading out.
Another minute of time save on this one of over 6 minutes now. Over my fastest time, so yeah, it does seem like a lot of my runs, I don't really have the strongest Annihilator, or perhaps have even been so unlucky as to not have a Black Market yet. And I'm just working with the Highlander, 2 Stalkers, maybe a 3rd Stalker even. But yeah, if you don't have that UAC powerhouse, things are going to be pretty bad from here going forward. And the next mission is, yeah, very critical.
Orders?
Training complete.
Waiting for orders.
Whole lot of nothing. Got a nice triple plus SRM6 and some lasers, though. I'll take those. Nice large laser.
New weapon systems available.
And you end up putting all of your best weapons on one Stalker because, again, for a couple of these missions, you're going to have Kamea along for the ride, and so one of your mechs is going to get left behind. So you want to overpower one, and then just kind of put all of your backup stuff on the other one. I don't know why I'm really concerned about maintaining my standing with the pirates at this point, because I'm not really going to be spending a lot of money at black markets. So I could definitely have not spent that time and just done the pirate missions. But typically you try to avoid the missions where the pirates are the client, because every time you withdraw, you're going to lose reputation with them. And you can really only lose one batch of reputation in the early game from withdrawing one of those missions without going below indifferent. If you withdraw from 2 pirate missions, you'll go into unfavorable, or whatever the one is below indifferent, and then it'll cost you, what is it, 2 million or something like that to get access to the black market instead of 500k. Maybe it's 2.5 million. I mean, it's a number that you literally will not have when it comes up at a time that you want it. So you have to maintain indifferent with the pirates. So yeah, normally I'm like trying to avoid that. And then also later, after you have access to the black market, you don't want to lose reputation and have things become even more expensive than they already are there. But at this stage of the game, I'm not really shopping anymore, so I shouldn't have worried about it, but thought it'd be worth mentioning. Alright, repelling the Taurian assault.
Sure thing. It'll take a bit, but we'll get it done. Calculating course now, Commander.
Decker picks up 2 injuries, so we're going to have to wait for him to heal, which is a little bit annoying. Normally, when you stall or whatever for the Leopard to be ready, somebody gets injured once or something. It's not usually that bad, or sometimes you don't even suffer any problems.
Ready to go over financials. You are.
But when you pay off the pirates, you lose morale, and so it's just annoying. Alright, there's a very particular strategy on this one. And if you screw it up, it can be really painful and you can lose a lot of time. So there's 6 APCs that you need to kill, and you need to kill them when they arrive. So everything has to focus on killing those APCs.
You're the only one who can.
One's going to come from the left, one's going to come from the right here at the beginning. So that's why I'm moving my Annihilator off to the right. And then my Highlander is also going to be just a tank soaking a bunch of damage over there in the trees on the left, in addition to taking out APCs. So there's the first APC, and here comes the second. We're going to dump all of our UACs at this thing, and don't need to use any resolve to focus on it at first because we don't have any recoil built up.
Waiting for orders.
Roger
And now in an ideal world,
locking in all weapons.
you take this APC out with a single salvo from this Stalker, but it doesn't happen, so I'm going to have to use the second one. Normally that Stalker is a tank in the forest for the incoming units up above.
Knocked out a vehicle.
But we're just going to have one tank this time around. That does mean that our Highlander is going to get shot a few times from those guys up above, but not the worst thing. Aside from the fact that he gets hit by a PPC, which actually lowers his chance to hit, which comes in to play.
Damage minimal. Damage minimal.
Alright, so now we've got an APC, another one over on the right. And we've got recoil built up. So we're going to need to use a precision strike to make sure that we kill that, which we do, thankfully.
One for the scrap heap.
And now we're going to jump over and take a shot at the next one, which seems like we should have plenty of damage to deal with it, and we just don't. It somehow survives, so now we need to send one of our Stalkers down south, which is awful.
On my way.
Because normally we would have 2
Keep pushing them back.
Stalkers to deal with the units coming in from the top. But it's okay. Just less than ideal.
Damage minimal.
Because we do get 1 turn of respite before more APCs show up. So if you're going to miss one here, is the time.
Barely hit, Commander.
Another reason why it's really good to load up on armor on your Highlander, since he's just going to get pounded over and over. And unfortunately, also in the back. There's also an SRM carrier incoming, which is a little bit scary.
On my way.
So here I do what is pretty sketchy, and I split my damage, thinking that this APC is going to go down very easily. And it does, but I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just dumped the whole load into it.
out.
Time to bring our Annihilator back, see if we can take somebody out. A few too many misses, though, on the Trebuchet.
Inflicted some heavy damage.
Orders?
But we'll take another crack at it.
Target neutralized.
So sometimes you'll be able to see that SRM carrier from there. But not this time.
Those transports cannot be allowed to take this spaceport. Whatever it takes, we must push them back.
Also annoying that that dropship just dropped off a PPC carrier, which does quite a lot of damage.
Systems holding. Damage minimal.
So one of the main reasons that you need to destroy all of the APCs as soon as they arrive is, of course, that if they make it into that yellow region, game over. The second reason is that once you kill them, the turrets come back online a turn later, which not only distracts your opponents, they start shooting at them, but also helps you take out the remaining baddies. Alright, gonna have to use a precision strike to make sure that that one goes down. We get it easy. Now there's just one more to go.
Enemy vehicle eliminated.
And you'd really love to just focus on the PPC carrier, because it's gonna do a lot of damage. But unfortunately, I don't have two guys that can shoot at the APC. So I just kind of have to deal with it and hope that this one guy can take him out in one shot. So here we go.
Affirmative. Confirmed.
And thankfully we're able to get it.
Reporting. One less vehicle.
Alright, now I'm jumping forward here to take out this SRM carrier. Because if any of you have ever dealt with an SRM carrier before, it's not something that you want to have knocking on your front door.
Engaging multiple targets.
Thankfully, we're able to hit it with the Gauss gun.
Enemy unit destroyed.
So yeah, enemy units all distracted by the turrets now. Takes a lot of the pressure off. And also nice, those turrets help defend that barracks up there. So by getting the barracks, or by getting the turrets back up online on round 6, the turrets will automatically destroy that secondary APC that's going to capture the barracks. And it's a secondary objective. You get more money for completing it, or by saving the barracks. So, you know, it's a nice little secondary
On my way.
sort of thing. get a little bit fancy here trying to take out both of these guys. And, of course, end up taking out neither of them.
Another hit like that and you're toast!
All weapons committed. Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
There's our lovely turrets taking care of business up at the barracks. And the turrets are helping us out on our fumble versus these guys earlier. Get some bolt. So actually it was perfectly calculated how much damage I did to them.
Receiving you. I copy. Confirmed.
A little bit of overkill on this Wolverine, but, you know, make sure he goes down.
Eliminated.
Get the sensor lock to help us out.
Good to go. Copy that.
Moving out!
And just one guy left.
Should have run when you had the chance!
Just not quite enough to take him out. Have to do one more round of battle, which is a little bit frustrating, but
Warning.
that guy's not going to last long.
Engaging target. Enemy mech destroyed. Mission successful.
Couple more decent weapons, and we'll do one last little refit here, beefing up our best guy before we head off to the extraction mission. I think we'll do one more game restart. So I'm gonna go use the restroom. Be right back.
Good to go.
Mech warrior training
Receiving
complete.
you.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Training confirmed, Commander. Training complete.
I'll let you know when that's done. Logged and...
Alright, getting everything
Shouldn't be too
all
hard.
topped off.
Roger that, Commander. Course plotted.
And heading off to extraction.
I've got the financial report.
Definitely a level where there's a lot of RNG about where the enemies position themselves and how easy it is to target them. At that stage of the game now, with our tactician level, or our tactics level, up at 8 and 9, where we can start to do a lot better on headshots. So, you know, you can really save a lot of time here at this stage of the game by getting favorable outcomes in some of these battles.
Command interface initiated.
I'm moving out.
Location confirmed.
Uh-huh.
Hostile on sensors.
Tell me what you need. Affirmative. Reporting one less vehicle.
All weapons committed. Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
They're stripping armor off.
What's up, boss? On my way. Here it comes.
Follow me to victory.
Target neutralized.
Good to go. Got it.
Yes, I hear you.
So that stupid little vehicle runs off to the side for no reason at all,
Splitting fire.
which means we have to spend another turn in combat.
Target destroyed.
But we're mostly just running forward
Order.
anyways, so
Double time. Let's
no
go.
big deal.
Pedal to the metal.
I'm listening. Copy that. Another enemy casualty.
Full throttle.
Most of the time, I think it makes more sense to just keep all of your weapons turned
Waiting
on
on you, Commander.
and just
Affirmative.
massively overkill something,
Standing by.
even though it, you know, sort of takes the full animation
New sensor
time
contacts. I've got hostile
to
units
fire all
converging
those
on your
weapons.
location.
Because
Damn you,
you either
Victoria.
click them all off
Taking hostages is a
to shoot
coward's
and then you
move.
have to click them all
If you
back
wanted
on
to fight,
anyways.
You should have come yourself.
I don't know. I usually just keep them all
When
on.
I send you to hell, be sure to tell Lord Carosas that.
Here I am trying to position my guys such that I'm not gonna get pounded on by this SRM carrier if it decides to
Aye,
come
aye.
down from the top of the hill quickly, there are like 2 different paths, or maybe more, that it has taken before. And so sometimes you'll see this unit, this vehicle, over on the far side of this hill. That's an SRM carrier, and if that thing pops over the hill and dumps, you know, 90 SRMs into you, it can be pretty painful.
Tell me what you need.
Don't need to tell me twice.
Nice result there, taking that one out 1 shot.
Gotcha.
Reading you loud and clear.
Receiving you. Copy that. Let's see how you like this.
And not quite enough hits
You
on
have
the
my
head to
attention.
take it out, but...
Enemy mech. Critical
Reading you
damage
loud and clear.
detected.
And yeah, it's
I'm on
like,
it.
I just gotta get Kamea out of there. I just don't want that SRM carrier connecting with her, so... She doesn't get to do any damage, but that's okay.
You got nothing, you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, Commander.
Got it. Commencing Alpha Strike.
And just barely gets the 1 shot on the Wolverine as well. That's
Run when you had
fantastic.
the chance.
SRM carrier
Standing
out
by.
of range.
I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen.
Kamea sucks at shooting, but good enough.
Target eliminated. The Directorate must fall.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Standing by. Roger that.
And there's our first headshot. Let's
Enough
go.
of these games, Kamea. And little Alex back? Come and find me. We'll be waiting for you. Won't we, Lord Madeira?
I'm sorry, Kamea. I evaded capture for as long as I could, but...
That sound you just heard was his jaw, Kamea. It was every bit as fragile as I thought it would be. Consider this a promise kept from our first reunion.
I'm coming for you, Victoria. Do you hear me?
Communication terminated.
How about another headshot? Let's go.
Tango down.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, there's nothing quite as satisfying as, you know, just sniping the brain off of some unit.
All weapons committed.
And you don't even have to fight it anymore. It's just done.
Enemy mech destroyed.
You have my
So a
attention.
couple of really nice results
that.
there.
For the Aurigan people. Damage minimal. Armor holding. I'm moving out. Neutralizing threat.
On my way. Got it.
And that's the power of a stalker, man. Like, with those powerful weapons, just anything smaller than an assault mech can just get one shot. It's pretty great.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Commander. Confirmed.
Every fiber of my being is screaming at me to not abandon Lord Madeira. To drop everything and rescue him, as I know he'd rescue me. In leaving him, I betray myself.
It's the right call. And it's what he wanted you to do. For your people.
But Alexander...
He'll live. Have faith in that, and press on. It's the only thing you can do.
Tell me what you need.
Love the drama there. Alright, so here's where the jump jets come in handy. Get to just jump over this section instead of running around. Saves you a couple of turns.
Not bad, cousin. But I am not finished with you yet.
I'm listening.
Engaging jump jets.
Yes, I hear you. I'm on it. Confirmed.
Ready for orders.
I hear ya. Moving fast.
I just took a heavy hit.
Firing everything I've got. Bang! You're dead!
I'm listening. Sounds good. I'm moving. All weapons locked on and firing. Vehicle destroyed.
Engaging jump jets.
Waiting for orders.
Can't quite see anything to shoot here, which is like annoying, but whatever. These guys are not long for the world. So, yeah, the easiest thing to do on this one, you don't actually have to kill these guys. You can download the data and then get to an evac point, but yeah, honestly, just killing these guys, downloading the data, that's far and away the easiest.
Copy that. Reporting a critical...
Standing by.
Waiting for orders. This should be good. Did you see that? Did you...
Commander. Giving him everything I've got. Enemy down.
Stabilizing. Engaging coolant system. Mission successful.
Alright. 642 ahead of best. Pretty good pace. See if we get just one last batch of good weapons. We get +5 damage and a couple of +4 damage. So those are actually very good finds, even at this late stage of the game, because they're very useful on Turlon and on Locura. On Showdown, of course, we'll have Kamea back with us, so won't have full use of all those weapons with both of our Stalkers, but yeah, very helpful on Turlon to have that damage, because there's a lot of big boys that need to go down one shot. Alright, so since we are going into the sort of final stages here, basically going to use all of our experience points just sort of haphazardly on whatever's sort of available at the end.
Logged and noted. Shouldn't be too hard.
Calculating course now, Commander.
Job's done, Commander.
The really annoying thing about Turlon is the length of time that you spend watching the orbital bombardment animation. Like, it's truly abysmal. So the way to avoid that, or at least attempt to avoid it to the greatest extent, is to kill all of the little spotter guys, the little spiders. The longer that those guys are alive, the more of the orbital bombardment targets get placed. So if you kill them on the same turn that they spawn, I think they generate, you know, like 1 or 2 or something that last for 1 or 2 turns. It's not as bad. So basically, they pop up, you try to smash them, whack-a-mole style. God forbid one of them sort of run away from you and stay alive for multiple turns, and then you're just sitting there watching these animations of missiles flying in from outer space for like 45 seconds. Yeah, here I was like irritated that I had to damage my reputation with the pirates, but at this stage, really, who cares?
Command interface initiated.
Calculating course now, Commander.
One of the most annoying little events that can pop up early in the game. In the late game, sure, you've got $1 million you can throw at these guys, but literally, if you don't spend the $1 million, someone's getting pissed off at you. Like, even spending 500k to, like, spend more on the mech techs or whatever, it boosts your tech points, and then, like, all of your mech warriors get pissed off that they didn't get raises, so they're all, like, in low spirits for an age. It's just awful. It happens, like, in the, like, in the, you know, between the 2nd and 3rd story mission or something, and you're just like, are you serious? I just have to eat this massive,
Go take out those generators,
like, hit?
Commander, and do it quickly. Our entire plan falls apart if those guns stay online.
So I messed up the pathing here.
Confirmed.
If I had done it
Incoming artillery fire.
correctly, then I could run past here with the Annihilator and one of my Stalkers, but I actually, I missed the pathing by 1 dot, and so I'm not going to be able to do that.
That's 1 generator down. You've got 2 more to go. Keep fighting.
This is another mission where you definitely need the jump jets on the Highlander, so... And here I am realizing that I screwed up the pathing. And that this guy is going to have to wait back. Alright, the first of many bombardment animations.
I'm taking heavy hits, Commander.
Taking quite a pounding there on my Annihilator.
Engaging jump jets. Engaging multiple targets. Enemy unit destroyed.
Orders.
Alright, so here's a stupid quick draw that is really helpful if you can take it out in one shot. So it's really nice that I was able to do that.
That's a kill.
Because you've already got this stupid Jenner that goes running all over creation, shooting you and then hiding in the forest.
Waiting for orders. Let's move.
Alright, so there's a spotter. And when they come in, they have infinite evasion as well, so it's like really tough to kill them. So, lock in the precision strike even with this low probability to hit. Can we get him? Nope.
That hit something good.
All weapons committed.
Thankfully, we get him with like the last missile.
Advanced integrity is compromised. Requesting support.
And now this guy's in the forest with this high evasion, but called shot mastery, just too good.
Wheels are damn back up.
And now I really don't want my guy to be this far back, but I have to get rid of this Jenner, so I go for him. I destroy his left leg and everything, but can't kill him. And then he does the most annoying thing that you could imagine, which is runs away. So if I hadn't destroyed those two spotters, there would be like 2 more of those stupid targeting areas that would be spawned, and they would go like for 2 more turns.
Affirmative.
Waiting for orders. Roger, full speed.
So that Jenner went and hid, so there's nothing I can do. I just have to kind of stick with the usual plan, which is to start moving to the right, where new units will be dropped down eventually, and I'll have to take them out. So now I just need to hope that that Jenner moves back into range so that I can kill it.
Full throttle.
Going full speed.
Waiting for orders.
Ready for orders.
And yeah, normally I would just be moving with those other 2 units, but now I have to keep this guy back. But it's okay, moves back into range. And in fact, I can just shoot him with my Highlander. whilst still moving towards the objective. So that worked out really well, even though it seemed
Good to go.
like it was annoying.
Waiting on you, Commander. Double time.
Full speed, no target.
Keep working on those generators, Commander. Those ground batteries need to be down before our dropships draw within range.
Alright, so after Kamea says that, then we know that the dropship is going to come in and drop off one more spotter and I think it's 4 more units. So
Commander.
we have to face towards it and brace so that we don't get cooked by all of this damage that's about to hit us.
Commander, on my way.
But it's also kind of good having your units spread out in that the targeting tends to get distributed a little bit more, whereas if they're all right with each other, it seems that they all just kind of tunnel onto one guy.
Minor damage, Commander. Nothing to see here.
And so far, so good. Definitely getting hammered on, but...
My armor's getting stripped off.
Alright, one wasted turn jumping up, then we'll be able to target the next generator.
Targeting rear armor.
Yes, Commander. Got it.
And let's see if we can snipe some brains.
Confirmed.
Got him.
Target eliminated.
Wait.
Receiving you. Got it.
Spider is definitely the primary target. And goes down easy.
Hostile removed.
I hear ya. On my way. Take this.
Engaging jump jets. Engaging target.
Second generator down. You've got one left.
Standing by. Affirmative. Target neutralized.
Good to go. Acknowledged. Copy that.
Good to go.
And it looks like I could be in danger of getting hit by the orbital bombardment, but the dots that you can't stand on will have little red outlines. So we'll watch a few more animations. And a few that don't even actually show up. But it could have been a whole heck of a lot worse if those spotters had lasted longer. And now we just head with our one Highlander up to the last generator. There's really no point in trying to run up there with the other guys. They're going to be too slow.
This is getting way too close for comfort.
You just end their turn.
You heard her, and you know what you have to do. Please, Commander, we're almost out of time.
Sounds smart. Cooling.
You don't really have to take out that turret, but it'll shoot at you if you don't shoot at it, so you're going to wait for an animation one way or the other.
Engaging jump jets.
Alright, and with that, nearly 11 minutes ahead of my best time. So this was like, at this point I was convinced that I was going to hit the 4-hour barrier as long as I didn't have any big fumble in the next 2 levels, right? Locura, anything can go wrong. You need to keep the APCs alive long enough to capture the turrets. If you don't, then that's a lot more guys that you have shooting at you and that you have to kill. There's a lot of heavy and assault mechs in that level where they can get any kind of lucky hits on your head or take an arm off with weapons. Just a lot of nasty things can happen in these last 2 levels, so gotta stay focused.
That mech you wanted is back online.
Alright, and so since we're going into the final 2 levels, won't have a chance to do any more upgrades, so this is where you just take all of your points.
Mech Warrior training
What can I do for you?
Training confirmed, Commander.
And it's nice to get that overheat threshold, the plus 15 overheat threshold on 1 more point into guts, as opposed to taking just 2 points into accuracy, because there's one very particular unit that will try to overheat your mechs, and that is going to be Victoria herself in her giant king crab. Alright, so decide to go with more armor and drop some of the heat sinks here going into the final level. Not going to just be like full auto cycling every turn. So don't need quite as much heat sinking, and definitely do need the armor, as going to need the Annihilator to survive through for the showdown.
Job's done.
Got a new financial report for you, Commander.
At this stage, money means nothing, and morale is over 41, so it's all the same, but alright, so I mentioned earlier that you need a rangefinder on, ideally, your Annihilator. And that is... well, so I always have the Annihilator in the 2nd position, which then places that unit in such a place on the map that it needs the needs to be able to see further. So I suppose you could have the rangefinder on whatever other unit you have in the 2nd position, but I think that's probably best. Or you could have a faster unit in the 3rd or 4th position, whatever. It starts to get complicated. But the reason is that you need to be able to see the, one of the enemy mechs with your Annihilator. If you can't see one of the enemy mechs, the enemy turrets will sensor lock your allied APC, because that will end up being the closest unit to the turret when it tries to sensor lock. And then that APC will be the only thing that the enemies can see, so they will start shooting it, and they will destroy that APC before it captures the turrets, and that's really bad. So you see how it moves like 1 space in front of my guy? They will sensor lock that and pound it, and it will die. And then this one will move forward, and it'll be 1 space in front of the other one, and so that one can get targeted as well. So really need that rangefinder. Just by the sheer nature of having the rangefinder on, it prevents them from sensor locking it. I don't know why, but yeah, that was a painful lesson to learn.
I've been sensor locked. On my way. Commencing Alpha Strike. Want some more, huh?
Nice to have these PPC carriers on your side back there. Definitely want to use a batch of resolve.
Ready for orders.
To make
Location
your Annihilator
Here it comes.
extra tanky. Because it's going to take a lot of punishment in those trees there.
That hit something good.
Alright. It's always annoying when you don't have quite enough vision to see this little idiot back here. If you could shoot this guy with your Gauss gun or whatever and just take him out, then that takes a lot of pressure off of this other allied APC. But that would require you to have a rangefinder on your Highlander, which you'd prefer to have a cockpit module to keep your main character healthy, because if you get injured on this level, then you won't be available to fight in Showdown, and that's not good. So, yeah. Alright, so that APC currently undamaged, which is really valuable. This one also currently undamaged, but they have to survive this one more turn. Thankfully, the turrets will not target them, but the mechs will, and so you can see that that one takes a bit of a pounding.
On my way.
On the right side.
Acknowledged.
And then this catapult or whatever comes and pounds it from the other side, but thank goodness it doesn't die. And now we're able to get into range of this guy, but unfortunately don't quite do enough damage to take it out.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
They've got a lock on me.
Don't need to tell me twice. And there's more where that came from.
Not quite enough damage to take that one out, but we'll have another shot at it.
Warning. Enemy sensor lock detected.
And usually not a great idea to run a Stalker up into an undefended area, like no forest or whatever, but honestly, kind of just have to take some risks here and clear these guys out.
Okay, it's official. Rumble seats are a bad idea, and I don't like getting shot at. I really, really don't.
Because if you take mech damage onto those APCs before they get to the designated areas, it's not good. So definitely best to just kill those guys. But yeah, it means that your mechs are going to get hit by all of the turrets as well before they get captured. Thankfully, that APC survives, and
give us a moment, and we'll modify it.
Powering down enemy turrets, Commander. Give us a moment, and we'll rewrite their targeting protocols.
now you can lose the APCs. So it doesn't matter if they get destroyed now.
APC down, Commander.
That you've already sort of satisfied the conditions, so that's nice.
Receiving you. On the move. Confirmed. That's a kill.
Now, this part can actually be kind of annoying. This catapult is quite strong, and it's actually kind of hard to get into a position to shoot it effectively. So I just fly up onto this little roof, and I'm hoping to take out its head, but no dice. And it's very tanky. Those catapults are hard to kill.
What can I do for you? Coordinates received.
Affirmative.
So normally, sort of round 5, you're
Engaging jump jet.
pretty much done fighting these guys. But unfortunately, I just cannot get through the armor on
Enemy
this
mech.
catapult.
Critical damage detected.
Orders. Coordinates received.
Your other 3 mechs, I think,
Good to go.
are best just braced right here
Waiting
in
for
the
orders.
woods, facing to the right, as a new batch of guys are going to get dropped off in that area. Take a little bit too much damage there for comfort, but
All weapons committed.
finally get it.
Enemy mech destroyed.
This is a long and time-consuming section
Sounds
as
smart.
well,
Cooling.
as you have to watch these stupid guys run around, and it continuously takes the camera angle
Holding here.
away from Goofy, or your main character. But things are still going pretty well. Got all of the turrets. Still have
And on that
both
note, I'm going
PPC carriers, which is nice. And because we have all of the turrets, the enemies are going to be largely distracted by them and target them, which kind of sucks that they destroy them, but a lot of the guys end up offering their backs, and that's pretty good. Alright, so we'll see if Goofy can get a headshot from downtown on this Thunderbolt.
Commander. All weapons are go.
Not able to one-shot the cataphract, which is unfortunate.
Waiting for orders. All weapons are go.
But we get it on the next go-round.
Bang! You're dead.
Commander. I copy. Enemy down.
And so, one mistake that I made a long time ago before I knew how to sort of finish this level is I left those 3 mechs of mine fortified in the trees there. And there's a dropship that comes and lands right there and will flatten anything that's there. So I lost my mechs. It was pretty awful.
Firing at full salvo. Scored.
But there's also another batch of enemies that are dropped in the upper right corner. And rather than just let them shoot at your turrets and just kind of end your turn, it actually makes a lot more sense to kill them
Firing everything I've got.
and kill them quickly. So Yeah. Turns out the best course of action is to run from here up to the top part of the map.
Now let's see how you handle this.
And engage.
Hostile eliminated.
Alright, no spots for me to try a headshot, but really just this one quick draw left.
Not much armor left in that location.
Ready for orders.
Got it. And stay down.
Moving out.
Moving out.
Moving to position.
Unfortunately, you only get the one turn to run in that direction, so if you haven't already started moving that way, you're a little bit behind the 8-ball. But these guys mostly just target turrets anyways. But yeah, certainly can't see anything from back there. And then once all of these enemies are eliminated, you're pretty much able to just sort of end your turns and skip quickly to the end.
Full speed.
So
No
it's
target.
all about just taking these guys down. And you will get a little bit of help from the turrets, which is nice. But some headshots would be even better.
All weapons committed.
Just no such luck.
All weapons committed. Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
Standing by.
Roger.
What's up, boss? Got it. Targeting for an alpha strike.
There we go.
Might be some good salvage there.
I hear ya. Uh-huh. Take this. Did you see that? Did you see it?
Missed every shot there. So pretty standard for this battle to go into like round 17, 18, but man, I'll tell you, by the time you get here, you're just like, come on, I'm ready to get to the final battle.
On it. Hostile eliminated.
All weapons committed.
All right, there we go. Still about 11 minutes ahead. Just need to close it out, get through this stupid Ostergaard dialogue.
Forces of the Urano Restoration. This is Commodore Samuel Ostergaard, formerly of the Concord.
Mission successful.
Perfect. Alright, didn't take any damage to the mechs, didn't take any mech warrior injuries, so don't have to worry about which guys were taken into the final battle, which is always nice. And the name of the game in the final battle is really just dish out damage to the smaller mechs, in particular the JagerMech, until Victoria gets out into the open, and then just dump everything you've got into her center torso until she falls. I've tried shooting at her head. I don't care how many times it says that I've got 17% or whatever to hit her. I never hit her in the head. So I don't know if there's some kind of, like, coded in block against just like shooting her in the head and ending the battle that easily, but it has never worked for me. So I just go for the center torso, and that seems to work pretty good. Usually I'm able to take her out with only one salvo from her, which is obviously really dangerous. Her big old AC-20s and her flamethrowers, her plasma guns or whatever.
You betcha.
So the strategy here basically is get Kamea up front and use her as the main tank, as she's got a pretty good amount of armor, and
Got a sensor tray.
her AC-20 is pretty short range, so you kind of want her up front. So I use Vigilance on her,
I'll make it happen.
and then just target the JagerMech with pretty much everything.
Come closer, dear cousin. Come closer.
All weapons committed.
And while this battle certainly can be dicey, if you get a little bit unlucky or you overheat or something, it's actually usually just one of the simpler, more straightforward ones.
Glancing blow. Standing by.
A little bit dangerous, perhaps, putting my Annihilator
I hear ya.
up front like that,
Don't need to tell me twice.
as it makes it a pretty good target for the enemies, and indeed they immediately start targeting the Annihilator instead of the fortified Kamea, so a little bit of a misstep there.
I'll do what you ask.
But I do have the armor to withstand a few hits, so it's okay.
I'm showing minor damage. Standing by. For the Aurigan Reach.
That JagerMech is somehow
had any
still
sense, you'd
functional,
retreat.
but not really going to be doing any damage.
Send your lancemates to me, Kamea. And watch.
So she seems to follow like a preset
On my
path that always takes her behind that rock. So kind of just keep pounding away on the other enemies until the following turn, when she will pop out. And ideally place your units in such a way that whoever's
Good to go.
been resolved up front will take the brunt
Roger
of her
that.
attack.
All weapons committed.
you need. Yes, I hear you. Reading you loud and clear. Waiting
Alright,
for orders.
so yeah, I glitched out a little bit here just trying to decide who I'm gonna attack. And I really didn't need to put this much effort into all of this, as neither of these two guys are really a threat. So I should have just dumped into the cataphract or something, but here comes Victoria, and she targets my Annihilator, which is actually not bad at all because I weather the blows and
Reporting heavy damage.
my weapons were already recoiling, so a rest turn is not bad at all.
This should be good.
So focus on that center torso, just do everything I can to work that armor off.
Not much armor left in that.
You have my attention. I'll make it happen.
And there we go. Structure exposed.
I'm listening.
And I
Standing
looked
by.
just to see if the Annihilator
What can I
can
do
do
for
enough damage, but when you get hit by those devastating
Got it.
blows that Victoria has, it just completely ruins your
Critical
accuracy.
hit.
Annihilator takes another big hit, gets knocked down even, but thankfully with the extra 15 overheat
Sorry, Commander.
from
I'm hit.
the last
You
mech
have my
warrior
attention.
level up, everything's okay.
Justice. For the...
And there we go.
I'm sorry, Victoria. No
Vicky's
choice.
down.
But make no mistake. Justice has been served here today. I am the Sword of Restoration. And Cormadir is free.
Alright, just have to mop things up. The Annihilator is going to take some more heat, so just want to
I'm up again.
go punch this cataphract down, ideally. But don't quite. Again, just trying to be a little too fancy here. Just don't even have to worry about this cataphract until next turn, but whatever.
Follow me to victory. I'm listening.
Coordinates received.
The Directorate must fall.
And stay down.
Another example of why you don't put your ammo in the center
Way
torso.
into it.
And I missed the attack. Oh, so
Tell me what you
annoyed.
need. I'll do what you ask.
Alright, the final shot gets through. And with that,
Unit down.
Mission successful.
a 3-hour, 54-minute, and 5-second run is on the books. So not only did I beat the 4-hour mark, but pretty well blew it out of the water. I'd had a few runs that were close and on pace, but we're going to be basically right at 4 hours. So to beat it by 6 minutes was really, really pretty cool. Alright, well that's going to wrap things up here. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary. I hope you enjoyed the run, and I'm not really sure what I can do to improve it much after this, so honestly, this might be my last run for quite a while, but hope you guys enjoyed it.